This is the Puck Junk Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Puck Junk Hockey Podcast. I'm Sal Berry, and with me is Tim Parrish and Clemente Lisi. And also joining us today is Sean Sullivan, who is a longtime hockey jersey collector. He is also the webmaster of, what is your website called?
It's the Chicago Blackhawks jersey history website. It's blackhawkjerseyhistory.weebly.com.
And he was also the organizer and promoter of the Chicago Game Used Jersey Expo. And he also went to the Toronto Expo. The three of us did not. So he's going to impart some of his wisdom, some of his experiences about that in this episode. So we'll just kind of get caught up. So Sean, how you doing? We'll start with you since you're our guest right now. I know you had a busy weekend, and then on top of that, you were like, hey, you know what? Promoting a show isn't enough. Doing a show isn't enough. I'm going to go to a Blackhawks game, too. Did you find, was that like, okay, maybe that was pushing it, or were you, I'm sure you had a great time in the Hawks.
Yeah, it was rough because it was a 6 o'clock start, which is early for the Hawks, but it was a Hockey Night in Canada game. So it really was a sprint getting from the show was in Skokie, which with no traffic, it's like a 20-25 minute drive. But with traffic, it was well over an hour. So it was a fight to get down there, and we got there just before puck drop. So we got to see the pregame ceremony, which thankfully was delayed a little bit. But yeah, it was rough. But thanks for having me on the show, guys. Been listening to the podcast for quite a while. I am hockey card adjacent. I collect a little bit. I used to collect back in the early 90s, up through around 2000, and moved away from cards and really got into game-worn hockey jerseys. So that was kind of my avenue, and I've been doing it ever since. I bought my first game-worn jersey, I want to say in 1995 on the floor of the brand new United Center when the Blackhawks were selling some jerseys back then. And real happy to be here.
We'll talk more about that. We definitely want to talk about some of the things that you have in your collection, and we're going to look at some of the pictures from the show that you put together, and also the expo. Tim, how about you? How's things these days?
Oh, if I was any better, I'd be illegal. So, just trying to not be busy like I was. So, we talked about that last show, but trying to calm myself before the holidays roll around and it gets crazy again. So
yeah,
that's it. It's kind of boring for the last week.
Busy time. So it's been boring the past week?
More or less, yeah.
That's good. That's good. I mean, I think we get to an age where we kind of appreciate boring because it's just like, what can I do? Right. Like you actually have time to think about what you want to do or something.
Like everybody this morning. What'd you do this weekend? Let's see. Friday, I had rehearsal. Saturday, woke up late, went to Sam's Club. Did nothing the rest of the day. Sunday, woke up early, went to breakfast, and then sat on the couch and watched football all day. Well, I watched the hockey game first and then watched football all day.
Oh, yeah, that not the Stadium Series. What
Global Series.
The Global Series. I love the way the NHL is like, hey, let's put a game in Sweden and then make it so that nobody can watch it. But you have NHL Network. I don't.
Oh, yeah. I was to say I watched it fine. I couldn't watch the Friday one because it was at 2:00 and I was at work.
See, I was home. I was home on Friday. I don't teach on Fridays, and I'm just like, hey, I could watch this game, but I don't have NHL Network. Sean, do you have NHL Network?
Yeah, we've got one of those boxes where you get everything. So yeah.
I need one of those.
Sounds
boxes.
Illegal.
You can buy them on Amazon. I don't know.
It's illegal adjacent.
I think that would be legal adjacent.
When you mentioned this little box, it reminded me of in the 90s, you can buy all kinds of things to get illegal cable,
right?
And you could buy them on eBay, and it was for testing purposes only. It's like you're testing your own cable, that kind of thing. But anyways,
right. Just gotta make sure it works.
Yeah.
Just to make sure it works. Make sure I get HBO for free. Yeah, great, it works.
How about you, Clemente? Do you get NHL Network?
No, I don't. So I have no idea what Tim is talking about. No, I know what the global series is, but like you, I was left in the dark on that, and I could have watched it instead of watching it. I got the flu shot on Friday, which is good because you want to be ready for the holidays. But that meant that Sunday, I was really drowsy and like I skipped a day or something. Like Saturday, I was fine, and Sunday, I was like, "Why am I feeling all weird?" And it was the flu shot. So I don't know, but. I'm prepared for the holidays now. I'm inoculated. So then I got a text saying, you want to get the COVID shot. I'm like, I'm done with shots. So I got the flu shot. I'm good.
Yeah.
Once Walgreens gets your phone number, they won't stop texting you. That's what I've learned this weekend. So.
Yeah. So anyway, that's good. So we're all here. We're all good. Yeah. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the 2025 Fall Toronto Sport Card Expo. We'll talk about also the Chicago Game Used Jersey Expo. And then we'll give a little preview of the Chicago Sports Spectacular that's coming up this weekend. And then we will do a Setrospective about 2015-16 Upper Deck Series 1, Series 2, and Update Series. Because, that set is now 10 years old. I mean, I know a lot of times when we do these Setrospectives, we're like, hey, here's a set from the 80s. Here's a set from the 70s. Even here's a set from the 90s. But 15, 16, that's 10 years ago, which is not a long time, but it is a long time. But it's also like a long time in collecting because so much has changed in collecting over the past 10 years. And a lot of that has to do with the 15, 16 Upper Deck set, as well as Connor McDavid being in that set. And then the start of EPAC with McDavid obviously being a driver to that. People wanting to get his Young Guns rookie card or rookie cards in other sets. So we're going to talk about this set and its significance and some of the good rookie cards and the design and all the stuff that we usually talk about. First let's talk about the Sport Card Expo a little bit. So just to give a quick rundown of the facts, it was November 6th through 9th in Mississauga, Ontario. There were a ton of hockey autograph guests. I mean, I saw Gary Roberts had canceled, but even still, there were over like 30 hockey signers and like, I think one baseball player and one wrestler at the show. And then tons of dealers selling hockey memorabilia. And I say it's the largest hockey show on the planet. Now, Sean, you were there this year, this fall. What did you think of the show? Like, you've gone, you went last year and you went this year, so you kind of have some perspective.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. I mean, if you collect hockey, it is the place to be. I mean, I understand Tim hasn't gone. You have to go, my friend. It is unbelievable. You go to like the National or any of the Chicago Sports Spectaculars or any other big show in the States, you have an entire table of cards, and maybe in a corner there's like 3 or 4 hockey cards. It's the complete opposite of this show. It's all hockey cards, and in the corner maybe there's like 2 or 3 baseball cards. It's unbelievable. Last year was my first time going. It was overwhelming. So the first time you go, it's just trying to take it all in. It's I'm used to running table to table, just trying to look for hockey stuff, and it was everywhere. So once you kind of get your bearings, it's great. So this year was. It was nice having the experience, so knew where to go. Didn't have to walk around the entire building. Clemente and Sally, you know what I'm talking about. This time to figure out where to go. And it was very similar setup to last year. From what I had heard from some of the vendors, next year I guess they're expanding it, so they're going to make it even bigger. It's not as large as the National, but it's a very good size. I mean, it's probably, I'd say, comparable to the Chicago Sports Spectacular, probably bigger. So it's a good size show, but not like national big. There were a lot of modern, ultra modern cards, lots of breakers, just like at the National, that type of thing. A lot of Pokemon. There's like they generally keep a section of the Pokemon folks, so it's kind of nice. It's not as integrated as it is at other shows, so you kind of have a Pokemon section. So you can kind of avoid that if you want to.
Sean, they have the big Pikachu like last year.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's in that picture right there.
So that's how you. Oh, yeah. So that's how you
Yep.
know it's there. Like you just go in that corner, and that's where it is.
Yep. Yeah, there's like a couple of them hanging from the ceiling, that type of thing.
Right.
I got a picture of myself with a Dragonite, I think it is, according to my kids. So
Okay.
like one of them was walking around. But no, there's so much stuff. And so besides jerseys, I mean, I collect vintage stuff. I collect Blackhawks, if you couldn't tell by the jersey, and the website and everything else. But so I really try to collect pre-war vintage cards. So I'm trying to put a team set together of all of the pre-war vintage Blackhawks. There's not a whole lot of them. There's a lot of sets of other teams, not as many of the Blackhawks, and photos, magazines, all that type of thing. So I picked up, here's a photo of Bob McGill getting in a fight, if you can see that. There we go. So
Yeah. Oh wow, who's he? Okay. Yeah, there I can see it now. Who's he fighting? Looks like someone's about to take. It looks like he's getting tackled.
Al Secord. So Al Secord on the Maple Leafs versus Bob McGill there. So I looked for the old Type 1
I think they were
photographs.
traded for each other, if I remember correctly.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I think so. So it's amazing, and I've told a bunch of the vendors up there that, you know, I live in the Chicago area. I go to all of the Chicago shows, and I can't find any vintage Blackhawk stuff. I need to go up to the Toronto Expo to find anything, because I don't know how many shows, you know, I sell.
It's not crazy.
Shows all the time. Yeah, there's just nothing down here. So it's
craziness.
Yeah. It's way easier to find vintage Hawk stuff up there than down here.
What else did you buy? You showed us some other stuff. Like what else? Did you like?
So
just so the people can see some of the stuff that you buy.
For sure. So the like 3940 OPG set, I picked up a couple of those cards, and I know you guys aren't the biggest fan of graded cards, but for me, I don't have to. I know. But for me,
Sean's a true listener. You can tell just by that comment. He's a true listener.
Good. He'll get all the inside jokes then.
With some of that vintage stuff, I mean, they're all like weird sizes. So I really, you know, I'm familiar with the standard card size of today, but some of them, like those, are like 5x7s. Some other cards are like really tiny and everywhere in between. So you know, I honestly couldn't tell if something is trimmed or not, just because it's not that common of a card, a size. So for me, when I'm buying something, I want to have at least a peace of mind that it's you know, it is what it is. It's not trimmed. It's not somehow counterfeited, something like that.
Fair.
So, yeah. So I picked up some of that old stuff, a ton of photographs. I didn't get any game worn Hawks jerseys this year. The Toronto Expo used to be a spot where you can go and pick up a lot of game worn jerseys. Now I think there were 3 vendors that had them, as well as the Toronto Maple Leafs. So the Maple Leafs, every year they go and they just blow out a ton of jerseys, equipment, all sorts of stuff. And at the end of the show, they were like really blowing stuff out. Like you could get 2 game worn jerseys for, you know, under 200 US a piece. It was they were really aggressive with their pricing and trying to move some stock out. And they always have some really neat stuff. So that's always a highlight to see as well.
200. Wow. Yeah. I mean, be like, hey, got any Garrett Sparks jerseys? And they'd be like, who? And I'd be like, you know, the guy from Elmhurst, Illinois. I think he played 3 games for the Leafs.
Yep.
But
my buddy bought a home and a road Tyler Bertuzzi Maple Leafs jerseys and paid roughly 400 US for them. So
yeah, he was talking about that. So so you didn't buy any jerseys up there, but you focused more on like vintage photos and vintage hockey cards and memorabilia from like 30s, 40s, 50s, like that. I know what you collect, but just the listeners don't necessarily know.
Yeah. And I really am into Blackhawks history and doing the research. If you take a look at my website, you'll see what I'm talking about. So right now my site goes from 1955, which is the first year that they wore the kind of the style that they wear now, from 1955 to current. Using examples of game worn jerseys, showing all the different details of the shirts. I take the photos that I collect and use the photos to show the guys wearing these types of sweaters. And it's if you really look at Hawks jerseys, they've looked relatively similar. Basically since 1955, there's been, some big changes like numbers on the sleeves and moving the tomahawks a little bit, but it all looks really similar until you start getting into the finer detail. And like, for instance, in the 1980s, every single year except for the last two of the 80s, the Hawks had something completely different about their jerseys. And if you really know what you're looking for, if you look at a photo like the one that I showed, you can tell what year it is just by some of the details of the jerseys. So I really have been interested in history and research for a long time, and I focused all that towards hockey jerseys. So,
these cards that you buy from the 30s, I say cards, but collectibles.
Sure.
They're not just to collect; they also aid you in your research for like kind of fine tuning like what year a jersey's from. Like you might, I might look at this and say, yeah, it looks 30s to me, but you're trying to sometimes like pinpoint like an exact detail because
year.
It might change from year to year. And that's got to be really like, I don't know what would be more frustrating as a jersey collector. Like it changing every year. I would think that'd make it a little easier. Or like when they don't change it and they just recycle the nameplates.
Right.
And then you're trying to like figure it out. And then it's like, you're not sure, like, well, it could be this year, could be that, you know what I mean? Like it's, there's like almost like no consistency. Well, I'm sure there is, but you know what I mean?
From a sports and memorabilia standpoint, that's an excellent skill to have, because we're at the point now where it's become imperative for most people to be able to photo match everything.
Yep. Yeah. I was just going to point out. So on my jersey here, there's like a big mark on the shoulder. Yeah. So using all the photos for photo matching, it not only authenticates the jersey, but if I were to go and resell things, and I'm not a big reseller, I collect more than sell, but on occasion, you do. It makes it much more desirable because you can prove that authenticity. I mean, these days with Getty Images and all of the video, high def video, that type of thing, it's pretty easy to match a newer shirt, especially when there's marks and that type of thing. But I'll give you an example. So I know the guys who run Classic Auctions out of Canada pretty well. In their current auction right now, they have a Blackhawks barber pole jersey. They sent me pictures of the jersey and said, hey, what do you think this is? Who's the player? When was it used? All that type of thing. I knew pretty much the exact year. I went into my photo archive, and in 5 minutes, I found a photo match of this jersey. It's a Doug McKay jersey from 1950-51. I just happened to have a nice close-up photo. There's a couple marks down on the belly, and in this photo, you can see those two marks. So it's awesome. Pretty cool when you can do something like that. Yeah.
Well, I remember when I met you at the expo last year, you had some jerseys that we kind of tried on and touched. Them. It was cool. And you actually had trading cards in your hand that from like the 90s or 80s and 90s that you had photo matched to, and I thought that was super cool. So I like the idea of you don't do cards, but you kind of they do help you in your research, which I think is cool. And when you had auction houses calling you up for help, then you're an expert.
Cool. So I like to tell folks I'm very famous with a very small number of people. So anybody who collects game worn jerseys and has questions about Blackhawks jerseys, I tend to be the guy that they go to. So
this is why I have respect for that kind of thing, because I always wanted to be a talking head on the History Channel. Like, nobody knows who any of these people are, but you recognize their faces because you see them on every single show. That's who I wanted to be. Like all the guys that the Pawn Stars guys call in. I got my expert. Let me call him down here. That's Steve Grad was always on there. They bring him in to figure out the autographs and all that kind of stuff. And it's like you don't know who these people are, but you know who they are.
Yeah. So, big. In my case, big hockey nerd. Yeah, that would be me.
Whose jersey are you wearing right now?
So this jersey, and we'll talk about my show, I guess, in a minute. But so this jersey has the Esposito memorial patch.
Yep.
The Blackhawks, they wore these in 21-22. The Hawks had not sold any of these for a while. They've just been holding on to them. And this year I was able to convince them to come out to the show. And so because it's Esposito, I wanted to get a goalie. So it's a number 32 Kevin Lankinen jersey.
Thanks.
Yep. So I wanted to get, because it's got the Esposito patch, I wanted to get a goalie. So I was able to pick this up at the show.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
puck mark right there on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's actually marks all over it. It's hard to see, but there's like a huge one right there. And yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Goalies get real nice wear these days with the types of tape that the sticks use and that type of thing. It leaves a lot of marks on the shirts. So.
No, that's cool. Anyway, did you get any autographs while you were at the show? I know you're not necessarily a big autograph guy.
Yeah, I'm not an autograph guy. I saw Duncan Keith. He walked right by me. I saw the goalie from Slapshot. He was like arm's length away. There seemed to be a very good crowd. I'll just mention real quick. So I went all 4 days. I didn't plan on going the last day, but due to a 5-hour flight delay, I went back to the show because I had nothing better to do. But Thursday is definitely if you want to go and see things, Thursday is definitely the day to go. It's not as crowded as the other days. Friday isn't too bad, but man, Saturday is just jam packed. It's almost. I mean, if I only had to go on a day and it was Saturday, it would be rough. You couldn't get through some aisles at times. It was really jam packed. Sunday wasn't so bad either, but yeah, Saturday was total peak time.
Yeah, I like the Thursday because it's usually not very busy, so you could zip around a lot. You could see a lot of things. You could cover a lot of ground. You could kind of like do the buying that you want to do. You know what I mean? Like obviously, there's things you need to look for and maybe take your time, but there's less competition on Thursday. And even like I would go to I used to do like the upper deck raffles because I'd always win because like 10 people would show up. And like I remember like last year, Clemente and we went to the upper deck booth and I'm like, well, look, dude, there's gonna be like 10 people at this raffle. We're gonna win something. And it was supposed to start at like 5 o'clock, and they're like, oh, we're gonna give out tickets in a few minutes. Oh, in a few more minutes, in a few more minutes, in a few more minutes. And finally, like after like a half an hour, because they're trying to wait for more people to show up. We just look at each other like, all right, this is dumb. And then we walk 10 feet away and they're like, all right, we're going to do the raffle now. And we're like, oh, man, you know what I mean? Like we just missed, we step away for a minute. And, but I remember like one year I won like a box of AHL because there were like 10 people standing around, at their raffle. But, and that sort of thing, there's just not a lot. Like if anybody's giving away freebies, they're going to have a bunch of them on Thursday. If you're just trying to look around, do some shopping. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I did. So my buddy I was up there with, we did find some relatively nice deals on some cards. He bought a box of the Blackhawks Centennial set. Mm-hmm. And I forget how much they were when they first came out. I didn't buy one, but we found a dealer up there that sold us one for 50 Canadian. So that's about $35 for the sealed box.
Nice.
So I thought that was a real nice deal. So there was a lot of wax, and I think as we saw as you run around the room, there were some pretty good deals on stuff if you looked hard enough. So
yeah, that's good, especially good with wax because like last year I looked and it was like everybody was selling stuff a lot higher, and I actually surprised even with like the tariffs because that has driven up the prices of hockey cards. Like I think the tariffs were like, I don't know, they keep changing, but it was like 30%. So on cards that are going from the US to Canada, there's like an additional fee on them. And like certain sets are printed in Canada, like Team Canada and CHL. So there's no tariff on that. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? If they're printed in Italy, they're considered a product of Italy. And then there's no tariff going into Canada, but the cup is printed in the US. So there's like a tariff on that, but yeah, that's a nice find. I got to get me one of those Blackhawks sets. I'm hoping to find one at the Chicago Sports Spectacular this weekend because something I definitely need to have for my collection. So sounds like you had a good time. Want to talk about the other expo?
So there's a pretty decent collecting base in Chicago. And for those of you guys who aren't into jersey collecting, which would be everybody here but me, a few on the West Coast, there's a few on the East Coast. My Gray runs a big one. There's a big one in Northern Virginia called the Nova Show. There's one in St. Louis. There's one in LA. I think there's going to be one in Vegas this year. So there are a bunch of shows scattered throughout the country, but in Chicago, we hadn't had an expo since 2017 when the Frozen Four was here. And one of the reasons for that is we used to have the Blackhawks convention. So the Hawks convention every year for the Chicago jersey collecting community basically acted as an expo. Everybody would get together, get a hotel room, have some drinks, go down, buy some jerseys. The Hawks would be selling them all weekend. And it was just a big social event, that type of thing. So after the pandemic, when all of Blackhawks management turned over with the Kyle Beach thing, we've got a big collecting base. We've got a lot of folks that are very into the thing, but there weren't any shows close. I mean, there's one in Detroit too that I forgot to mention. But so a friend who collects Hawks game worn jerseys but lives out in DC got in touch with me and said, "Hey, I really want to do this in Chicago. Would you partner with me?" And he said he'd take care of the logistics of finding the room. I know all the people, and if I bring in the people, he'll get the room, and it just worked out perfectly. So we announced the show a few months ago. We coordinated it with the Hawks game, as we talked about earlier. And Hawks games rarely happen on Saturdays, so that was pretty important for us just to get both of those things lined up. Because we actually, once we announced the show, we had 40 tables. All 40 tables sold out. We had people come in from across the country. So East Coast, West Coast. We even had somebody come over from the UK. I probably could have sold another 10 tables easily. Show was in Skokie, so it's near the airport. We had dealers coming in. We had a great crew. So got the show set up on Saturday the 15th. And it was just spectacular. So we had, I want to say, about 60 paid walk-ins for the show, which for this type of thing, I think is pretty good. The room was hopping the entire day. There was a lot of commerce going on, a lot of trades, a lot of sales, a lot of action happening. And it just wasn't Blackhawks jerseys that were in the room. There were Kings collectors, New York Ranger collectors. There was Pittsburgh stuff there. There's a lot of Pittsburgh stuff there. There was just a great mix. There was a great mix of stuff, and it was great. I mean, I can't say enough great things about the show, about the people. The Blackhawks, like I mentioned earlier, came out. They hadn't really done anything with a lot of their jerseys since the convention went away. So this was a great way for them to move a lot of stock. And, I picked up a few shirts, as did everybody at the show. They were thrilled with the experience. And, I think we'll do it again next year. But it was just a great afternoon. Show went to 9 to 3, and it was hopping the entire time. So it was great.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How do you decide that 40 tables was going to be what you wanted? Because I know you just said you could probably sold 10 more.
That was, when I went and saw the room, I couldn't really picture it. And I thought, well, maybe we could get some more tables in here. And I think, Sally, you can attest, 40 tables filled that room up.
Yeah, that room was full. And actually, I have some pictures that I want to share. So maybe I could show these pictures and you could talk about some of the things in the pictures.
Sure.
All right, so let's see. Oh, and by the way, so I want to give a shout out to Josh Peng, who was the co-organizer of the show, which really, I don't say crazy, but dude is like, what, 23, 24? Right. And he has like all these like vintage Blackhawk jerseys. I mean, a lot of stuff from like 2010s era, but like, I'm just looking at his stuff and I'm just like, whoa, like dude's like just out of college and like he's already got a pretty impressive collection. And I'm like, how long you been collecting since you were like 12? He's like, no, I just started like 3 years ago. I'm like, whoa, like, within 3 years he'd accumulated a pretty good collection. So I mean, I was set up right next to him. So but let's see what we got here. So well, first of all, your family, you conscripted them into. I was joking with your son.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, your kids came up to my booth, and they said, "Are you Puck Junk?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "We recognize your voice from the podcast." I'm like, "Your dad makes you listen to my podcast?" And they're like, "He listens to it in the car when he drives us to school or when we drive to the store." I'm like, "Oh, you poor things. I'm so sorry. You have to listen to my voice."
Yeah. You're in the rotation for sure.
That's good. That's good. So
yeah, but they were my my unpaid labor for the weekend, so they were wonderful. They were a great help. So
that's why we have kids.
Yes,
for the unpaid labor.
Totally. But yeah, no, that was great. I gave out T-shirts because it was our first one too. I don't know if we do it again next year. I probably won't do T-shirts again, but I thought it was cool for the first one. So
yeah, little pricey sometimes, but
yeah,
I get it.
And
then, some of the setups here.
Yeah. So my display is the picture here with the sign. So funny story about that real quick. So the logo that's on the T-shirt, I created using ChatGPT. My son, who's 14, is really into animation. He wants to do that professionally once he gets a little older. He got incredibly mad at me because I used ChatGPT to come up with the logo, and I'm like, I needed to do something quick. So the sign that's on the front of the table there was a logo that he designed and made, and I said, look, I'll make a sign and bring it to the show. So that made up a little bit for my my ChatGPT faux pas, I guess. But on my table,
I think it was a great logo, honestly.
Yeah.
I even if it's AI, it just looks cool. It checks all the boxes that needed to,
Yeah. So my display this year, and I have a lot of Hawks jerseys, as you may imagine. I went with the Blackhawks captains. So my display was all of the Blackhawks captains from 1980 to current, and I had a game worn jersey from each one of them. Additionally, I had a couple Blackhawks wool jerseys from the 1950s that you can kind of see in the middle of the picture there if people are watching on video, and then a couple game used masks. So I had an Eddie Belfour, Craig Anderson, and Ray LeBlanc from the Chicago Wolves. So my stuff was all, at least everything that was on the table wasn't for sale. It was just all for display. But a lot of guys within the room had stuff for sale as well. And then the other photo that we're looking at here, this is Josh's table, where he's been focusing on guys that run the Stanley Cup teams, which is also obviously a great theme. So
yeah, you got Yalmerson, Roosevelt, Uduya, Saad, Hossa,
yeah.
And then on your table, so 1980. So you would have had what, Ruskowski?
Yep. Because Sutter, and then
Savard.
Bob Murray's in there too.
Oh, Murray! I didn't know he was captain.
He was captain for a few games, but he's like officially a Blackhawks captain on their list. So
got it. And then of course Bram for a number of years, and then my favorite player, Chelios. And then who was it after Chelios? Was it Zamenhof?
No, Doug Gilmour.
Oh,
it was
Doug Gilmour. About Doug Gilmour. We all forgot about Doug Gilmour.
He was here for a year and a half.
We forget about Doug Gilmour as a Hawk.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah.
And then Tony Amonte, and then Alex Shamnoff, and then the dynamic duo of Marty Lapointe and Adrian Aucoin. And then we went to Jonathan Taves for many, many years. And then Nick Foligno is our most current. So on the table there was a jersey of all those guys.
Wow, nice.
Yep.
How did you get a Nick Foligno? Because he was pretty recently made. Last year was captain. So
yep. So
I imagine there's a lot of them floating around.
No, so the Hawks haven't really sold anything from that season yet. But since they were coming out to the show, and I described what my display was, I said, "Hey, would you mind bringing one out for me just so I could use it for the display?" And they said, "Yeah, sure."
Nice.
And then I said, "Well, as long as they're coming out and it'll be here, could I buy it?" And they came up with a price, and it wasn't cheap, but we made it happen. So
yeah, I get it. It's like the last card you need in your set, and it's a rookie card of some Connor McDavid. So it's like, yeah, okay, I need it. So
right. And then the wool jerseys, just real quick. There's
Oh, yeah.
a 54-55 barber pole, who is Dave Creighton, who is another former Blackhawks father. Adam Creighton's was his son. A 55.
It's in the middle of the picture in the back there.
Yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
next to the red one there. It's kind of blocked. To the right of that one is my favorite jersey in my collection. It's a 55-56 George Red Sullivan. That's the first year of that style of jersey, and I'm related to him. So I was able to find his jersey a couple years ago. And then I also had a 1950-51 Bill Mosienko wool jersey there as well. So
That's awesome.
yeah. And I'm really, as I'm doing the research, I'm trying to take my website all the way back to 1926. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really into like the vintage cards and photos, just trying to work on that era. Cool. So here's a few more photos. So these are some game worn masks. There's some incredible masks here. Marty Brodeur. There's a few Marc-Andre Fleury masks there. A couple other guys. So this is a guy out of the Pittsburgh area that's both a dealer and a collector. Double D Khaki, John Baldovator is the guy's name. And he just has some amazing stuff. And
Where do you even get this stuff? That's
he's
crazy to me.
Yeah, he's actually friends with the Flower, so he's gotten some of the stuff directly from him. But once you get into this hobby, I mean, you make some connections, and it's amazing some of the stuff that pops up. So those were some of John's masks. Next to that, we had an entire LA Kings display. Who would have thought in Chicago we've got an LA Kings collector, but we do. And so he brought out some great shirts, Marcel Dion's and guys from the Cup era teams, a bunch of game used helmets and that type of thing. So it was quite a variety of different genres and teams. I mean, there were guys there with nothing but minor league shirts. You can see in the photo here, there's an Ovechkin. There was a bunch of Ovechkins in the room. I don't think we had a game used Gretzky at the show, but there was a Messier, there were Yari Currys, there was a lot of the bigger names you could think of in the last 30, 40 years. So
is that a Kamensky Avalanche jersey next to the Ovechkin?
That's Sakic.
Oh, is it? I can't tell.
Sakic and then a Goudreau above that.
It's super tiny on my screen. So.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. There was also just in Hawks World, there was a game used Bobby Hull, game used Stan Mikita. There was some just phenomenal stuff. So it was like a trip to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it was like a museum. It was crazy. And some of these displays, it's funny because some people just like one guy. I don't have a picture of that. Actually, I think these are all your pictures. Actually, this might be the guy here. He had just tubs on the floor.
Yeah, just piles.
And I would just pick up a jersey, and I'm like, oh, wow, a Jeff Brown Nordiques jersey, like just randomly on the floor. And I didn't want to like ask like how much, like. Okay, so I have this joke at the card shows. Like, if it's on the floor, it's got to be cheap, right? Like, I was at the Toronto Expo, and this guy had a set of cards on the floor under his table, and I picked it up. Like, how much is this? And he's like, $400. And I'm like thinking, it's on the floor.
On the floor, yeah,
under the table,
right? Like, when I have a $400 thing, it's usually in a display case where people can see it. It's not just some random stuff that's on the floor. This guy just had buckets and bins of jerseys, and I'm like going through, and he had like Whaler jerseys and Nordique jerseys, and I was just like, whoa, this is just crazy, like how they accumulate. Although I imagine the further back you went, the cheaper it had to be to get these, and easier.
Yeah, if you were an older collector, they were definitely cheaper. That's for sure. Yeah. But it was there's always stories in hockey about how things were backdoored back in the day. So a lot of the teams, nobody collected this stuff, but the equipment managers would know guys in the area that would want them. So they after they were done with a set or end of the year or whenever, they would grab shirts and sell them out the back door, that type of thing. So that's how a lot of the hobby evolved back in the day. But yeah, Rob,
this cannot be I'm sorry, but this can't be easy hobby to navigate financially.
It's not a cheap hobby, that's for sure. You really need to know what you're looking at, which is one of the reasons why I made the Hawks website, because for a lot of teams and for certain eras of the Hawks, the jerseys you could buy in a retail store were very similar to the jerseys that they were wearing on the ice.
Right.
So you really need to know the finer details, what game wear really looks like. You know, if you're skating really fast and you check somebody into the boards, you get friction burns on the sleeves that are known as board burns, and that's the type of thing you really can't fake. You know, the interior wear in a jersey, you know, all the stick marks, obviously, and team repairs. That's what makes the jerseys unique. And you know, as a newer collector way back in the day, you know, I didn't really know that was what I was looking at, and fortunately, I was always buying from the team or reputable dealers. But other people that I know, you know, they've had a collection of 10 jerseys and all 10 of them were bad. So you really need to know what you're doing. And luckily, you know, there's a lot of people in this hobby that are great. If you collect Avalanche jerseys, I know guys that exclusively collect Avalanche jerseys and they're happy to help out. You know, Blackhawks stuff obviously is my thing. You know, there's Red Wings guys, there's Penguins guys, there's Kings guys. So you know, kind of getting, if somebody were trying to get into the hobby, you know, getting that knowledge is key, just to set yourself up for success down the road, that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, a lower end hockey jersey, you know, you're still talking probably a couple $100 at least.
Easily.
You know, depends on the era. But you know, a lower end Blackhawks jersey these days, it's you know, multiples of that. So
Well, it's like Sal's talking about the dealer pictured here. You know, he's got stuff all over the floor, and it's just
right.
You know, I have one. I can tell you, my collection of game worn. It consists of one. I have one actual game worn, and it was obtained for me. But I did some research and found where it was obtained from, and I actually found the auction, and I saw what was paid. And mine's not even an NHL; it's an AHL jersey. And I saw what they paid for it, and I thought that's insane.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine some of these. I mean, you know, looking at some of these pictures. I mean, you got Patrick Kane jerseys, and you've got vintage, you know, Stan Mikita and stuff. I mean, how do you put a price tag on that?
Oh, you can. They're big price tags, but you definitely can. Yeah. So in the photo there's a Patrick Kane rookie jersey, another Kane, I think from a Stanley Cup year maybe. There's the Bobby Hull is the one at the top left in the photo. Mikita's in the center. To the left of Mikita is an Al Arbor 1961. That's a Stanley Cup final, Al Arbor, which is only a 1 year style. If you look at the number, you see how there's like a red outline on the two. That was only a 1 year thing. And then I'm not sure what the Patrick Sharp was, but yeah, that table just had some amazing stuff. So cool. Yeah. So Into the Boards is a dealer that came out from the East Coast. Some amazing Ovechkin jerseys there. Timu Solani, the New York Rangers display. Again, that's a collector that lives in Chicago, but he's a huge Rangers fan. And he has Hall of Fame worthy Rangers jerseys. I mean, the Hall of Fame doesn't have stuff as nice as this. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, those Brian Leetch jerseys. I think the one on the left might be his rookie. There's a Stanley Cup final jersey on the right there from '94. Liberty alternate in the middle, and then you know he's got it rolled up a bunch of jerseys there. You can't see the photo that were amazing as well, and then a bunch of Rangers game used masks out in front. So it was really an experience to see all this stuff.
You know what?
Personal collections.
You know what? You know what I find astonishing. Yeah, I agree with Tim. It's in personal collections that the players themselves don't have more of their own stuff. That kind of shocks me. And I almost was going to ask you if any players walked in here looking to buy their own stuff, because it seems like a lot of them don't have it. It's
funny, Clemente. So so many of the players don't care. Okay. So if you a couple years ago, the Blackhawks have been doing what do they call them? Where they had old players come back, do one final skate or one last shift is what they were calling
One
it.
last shift, yeah.
Yeah, so for one last shift, they had older players come out. They would put a jersey on them. They'd skate out and be able to wave to the crowd one last time, that type of thing. Roenick and a bunch of the guys. So one of the guys that did it was Brian Bickle. So Bickle went out, did the thing, came off, and the players can keep their jerseys and whatever. So Bickle came off the ice, took the jersey off. They're like, "Yeah, Brian, here's your jersey." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't want it," and he just tossed it aside. And yeah, some guys don't care. Other guys, I mean, Chris Chelios he sold off his personal collection a while ago. He had a ton of stuff from other players and his own jerseys.
Right.
Some players hoard it. Other guys, I mean, it's like their work laptop. It's just like the stuff that they use when they're at work. So they don't care as much. But and it's funny too. It seems like a lot of the players aren't so much into the jerseys, but into sticks. So there's a lot of stick trading that happens, and guys like Ovechkin and Gretzky at the end of their careers, they're just collecting sticks from guys and trading sticks and all that type of thing. Ovechkin's actually there's a big market for goal pucks, so goal scored pucks. The puck goes in the net, official grabs it, they bring it over to the timekeeper. Timekeeper wraps tape around it, that type of thing.
Just ask Jordan Binnington. He knows.
We talked about that last week.
Right.
With Ovechkin.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, ever since Ovechkin, I want to say hit maybe 400 goals, maybe 500 goals, he's been keeping every single goal puck. And he's going to eventually open up a museum in Russia of all of his stuff. So he's got all of his goal pucks from the last couple of years, his sticks, jerseys.
That was on full display at the Global Series this weekend.
Yeah.
There's a clip that's been floating around out there of Crosby being interviewed on the side, and Peter Forsberg is standing there. And so he says something about exchanging sticks. And Forsberg just says, "If Sidney Crosby wants one of my sticks, I'm giving him one of my sticks."
Nice.
So it was just like, here's a legend that's in the Hall of Fame, and he's trading sticks with a current player that will be in the Hall of Fame, but still.
And it's funny. It's some players are totally into it, and other ones could not care less.
Yeah. It's definitely, I think, more prevalent. You see it happening a lot more in the NHL. And then sometimes in the NFL now, you would always see at the end of an NFL game, guys switching jerseys all the time. But now it's gotten to the point where it's almost comical because players go after certain players because they know it's very rare that they give their jerseys out.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't imagine being like Tom Brady and half the other.
Well, Aaron Rodgers comes to mind because he hasn't given up a jersey in a while. So but
so hockey jersey collectors are very passionate. They love their stuff. They pay decent prices. When you get to other sports like football and baseball and especially basketball, hockey jerseys are a bargain because it's the prices that guys pay for. Name your NBA star. It's multiples of your highest end hockey players. It's crazy. So
what
it's like that in cards too. Interesting.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was just looking at this photo on the left here, in most cases, a game-worn Teemu Selanne jersey would be like a showstopper, but it's next to 3 Alex Ovechkin jerseys. So it's like one of these kids does not belong here.
Right.
One of these kids is not the same.
They're all number 8s.
What's that?
They're all number 8s.
Well, that is true. Yeah, they are all number 8s, but oh my God. Yeah, just to see 3 Ovechkin jerseys all from different eras in a row. Oh, and then a couple of the loser on the left, he was I think it was a charity case because he didn't have any game-worn hockey jerseys. All he had were a few game-used sticks that nobody wanted. You could see him there. Honestly, I'm glad I was part of your show, but I felt a little self-conscious because I look and I'm like, yeah, I got some cards worth a couple $100 each. And then I look and there's there's a jersey that's probably $10,000. You know what I mean? It was just I kind of felt like the garage sale or the flea market compared to the high end stuff. And especially people just doing these really nice, museum quality setups. And then it's how much is that? Oh, not for sale. How much is that? Not for sale. You know what I mean? And I got
it's all
like
good.
10. Yeah, no. So,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Appreciate the support, and I was happy to have you. It gave a little variety to the show, obviously. So, and so many guys like myself are looking for photos and cards of their jerseys and that type of thing. So I thought it might be a good opportunity there too. So.
Yeah, and then over in the other picture, that's Tom, and he also, well, he had a ton of game worn jerseys, but he also brought like some pucks and some media guides and some pennants. So he had some other just kind of random hockey stuff. So he and I hit it off. We talked a bit, and then he told me, he's like, "Yeah, when I moved back to to the Midwest, you were the first person I bought stuff from." And he's like, "Yeah, it was at the June 2022 show in Oak Creek, Wisconsin." Like, he remembered like the show, and like, I'm like, "Whoa, okay." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I had just moved back from the East Coast and got back into collecting hockey cards, and you were the first person I bought hockey cards from in like 20 years." And I'm like, "Oh, nice." So he's a cool dude. I mean, I talked to a lot of people, but I probably talked to him a little more just because we kind of had more, some of the similar items at our tables. But then again, he had like a crazy, he had Baltimore Skipjack jerseys when they were affiliated with the Penguins.
Yeah.
So like mid 80s, like he had like one that was like bright gold, and I'm just like, wow, that's cool. And I'm like, I just grabbed one off the rack, and I just said, "All right, stupid question. It's out of my range, but how much is this jersey?" He's like, "Oh, that would probably be a $15,000 jersey because that guy's in the AHL Hall of Fame." I'm like, "Okay, I'm just gonna put it back."
You picked the wrong jersey.
Huh?
You picked the wrong jersey.
Yeah. And then I keep going, and I'm like, "Oh, Stefan Beauregard, Winnipeg Jets. There's some good stuff in there."
Yeah. He used to actually have a Murray Bannerman Baltimore jersey. Bannerman played for Baltimore just for a handful of games at the end of his career. So,
I guess the question for me is that we don't do jerseys on when I speak for Tim and Sal, but we will get cards with like the jersey swatch in it, like, for example. So what does the jersey community think of that? Like, the Upper Deck buys a jersey and cuts it up into little squares. Like, is that sacrilege, or what is that?
Question.
Yeah.
So now that there's within the NHL contract, Upper Deck gets a certain number of jerseys from players. So I think it's 3, I want to say. And what the Hawks do, for instance, is they put a jersey on a different jersey on Connor Bedard every period for Upper Deck to fulfill that contract.
I see.
So Upper Deck gets 3 jerseys from the Hawks, probably all 3 worn in the same game, 1 per period.
Oh.
The new stuff, go crazy, cut it all up. Don't care. What really gets myself and a lot of collectors upset is when they're pulling out, vintage jerseys from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and they're cutting those up. There's going to be who knows how many Connor Bedard jerseys, before the end of his career, as long as they're not cutting up, his first NHL gold jersey or his, 500th goal jersey, because we'll get there within a year or two, right? Thank you. As long as they're not hitting those milestone jerseys, that's, in my opinion, that's fine. It's fulfilling a niche within the card market. But if they start doing it again with I think it was In the Game, or somebody was buying up like the real nice vintage stuff and cutting that up, and I think that's just a shame to be doing that to hockey history.
Yeah, so I'll play devil's advocate to say I agree with you, but cutting up the jersey also gives a chance to many people to own a piece of it, and I'm playing devil's advocate there.
Oh, sure. And
you're also encroaching on copyright with Upper Deck's piece of the game.
Yep. And I hear that, but I think there's other ways to do it. There's other things you can do. I mean, historic jerseys and like there was I think it was Charlie Gardner, who was the Blackhawks goalie in the 1934 Stanley Cup. They got a pair of his pads and cut those up. I'm like, those are probably the only ones that exist, and now they're just pieces in hundreds of cards that sitting in probably almost common boxes. That they aren't real favorites.
The thing though is that like the Hockey Hall of Fame. I mean, I read I went there a couple of years ago. And, I read everything up on their website. And, one thing is that they really don't want to buy stuff. They want things donated to
Oh,
them.
yeah.
So the thing is that like if I got these Charlie Gardner pads and I'm just like, yeah, he was my great uncle and I don't care about hockey and I want to get money for these, and like Hockey Hall of Fame is like, oh well, you can donate them to the hall, and Upper Deck's like, yeah, we'll give you $10,000 for them. And then Sean Sullivan's like, I'll give you $25,000 for them for my Blackhawk hockey history website. Well, I'm probably going to sell them to Sean because,
Money
that's
talks. Yeah,
BARRY, 2 R's, right? We'll make the check. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the thing is that like Hall of Fames can only afford so much. I mean, when Dr. Brian Price, who used to own In the Game, now he owns President's Choice Trading Cards, when he bought those George Vezina pads and he cut them up and he put them on trading cards, and he still has those pads, and he's still to this day still putting them on cards. And I remember in an interview in Beckett Hockey Magazine, maybe back around 2002, when they said, don't you think this should be in the Hall of Fame? And he said, well, the Hall of Fame had the opportunity to buy it and they didn't want it.
Yeah.
So I bought it. Yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, you can't argue with that too much. I mean, I get it. Like it's historical. And like you said, there might only be one of them, but at the same time, it's like,
it's a business. It's money
the
talks.
hall can't have it all. Right.
Right. Yeah.
I've always said a cool thing would be to do a redemption for the full piece.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like if somebody's going to buy it, put it in there. Now I can't imagine the box price for whatever it's in. It's going to be an astronomical amount to try to cover that. It's just simply from the insurance standpoint. But
yeah.
I mean,
and
still,
the two quick points. So one thing with the Hockey Hall of Fame, if you do donate things to them, you do get the tax write-off. So to some people, that's a big thing. But the thing that floors me as a guy who collects game-worn jerseys, just looking at some of the stuff with Bedard and some of the other players, they cut up a little piece of it, put it in a card. Maybe he autographs it or whatever. And people are paying, the shield cards. I've heard the shield cards are, going for 5 figures,
like a rookie patch autos.
Yeah. All of that stuff. You can buy an entire game-worn jersey for way less than what those cards are selling for, which is the craziest thing for me. So, why is somebody spending $50,000 on a shield patch auto of player X when you can go for probably half that price or less, buy an entire game-worn jersey that in my opinion is way cooler than the little card that they'll just make another one of next week,
Yeah, in the card world, that's kind of that's the pinnacle of the cards. In hockey, it's the shield. In the other sports, it's the logo min patches.
Right.
So, basketball, the little Naismith guy, and baseball, the MLB logo. And, because you think of it from the point, oh, well, if they cut up a jersey, there's only one of this piece. There's, 7,000 of the other pieces. So that's what gives it the premium. But you're right. You could go out and buy countless numbers of jerseys that have one of those on each one.
Right. Yeah.
A lot less, and get something authentic and real that was real.
Yeah. Think of Connor Bedard. I mean, what's his patch shield go for? Like, he's probably 50,000 or more. Who knows? The Hawks have now,
but I can't remember what it was for.
Yeah. The Hawks have now sold several of his jerseys, and they're not cheap. But I think the last one that they auctioned was about 20,000. So, you can get the entire game-worn jersey, or you can just get a little tiny piece. So I'll go with the full thing.
Yeah.
Well, here you have all the people who were set up at your show. So you said there's like 40 or so people. 40 tables. There's some people that were walk-ins who just happened to be there. We were taking the picture at the time. But this is a bunch of the crew. It's
St. Pat's jersey down in front.
Which one?
Right in the middle. Front, bottom. Is that a St. Pat's jersey?
I can't tell. The picture's too small.
In the middle, there's a guy wearing a
Oh yeah.
Suomi? Is that a
yeah, I think it's
also
I think
the Finland jersey. It's a
Finnish jersey, something like that.
Yeah.
So with the expos, it's always a tradition. You always have a group photo and everybody has to wear a jersey. So This was us fulfilling that tradition. So
Except for me and the
except
guy
for Sal
behind
wore
me.
his jersey.
Yeah, Star Wars Puck Chunk. I found you, Sal, so quickly in this photo. I'm like, oh, Sal's the guy right there. You know?
Where's the guy without the jersey? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, well, the guy next to me in the 46 jersey, that's Josh, and he looked at me. He's like, "You don't have a jersey?" I said, "Yeah, I don't own a game-worn jersey." And he's like, "Would you like to wear one of mine?" I'm like, "Nah, it's okay, because we're already." Yeah, I was like, I'll be the guy without the jersey, the outlier. I mean, like the thing is like, I remember that first Blackhawk convention. Did you go to the first one, Sean,
Yep,
back in 2008?
I went to all of them. Yep.
Okay,
for sure.
so that first one, I remember there were people selling game-worn jerseys and game-worn equipment, and it was more of a hockey show and like a memorabilia show. And then after that, then the next years, it was like people selling pucks, people selling photos, people selling T-shirts, and maybe one or two people selling trading cards.
Yep.
Almost nobody selling anything game-worn, right? And I remember that first. Yeah, it was so I loved that first one. And I remember finding a jersey and I almost bought it and it was $150. It was preseason worn. So still not the same thing, but it was of a guy who I remember him being on the Blackhawks on their minor league team. And it was like, he didn't make the team, but you saw where they had like the 92-93 anniversary patch had been taken off. So it had like that outline, or it might have even been left on. I don't know. But I looked at it and I'm just like, this is kind of cool. But and I look back and go, I kind of wish I bought that. And I was looking at one guy's rack and I'm like looking and I'm like, oh, I have $450. I could afford this. But then I'm like, but do I really want a Dean McAmmond jersey? You know what I mean? And so that was the thing. Like, I was just like, yeah, 92. It had the 92-93 patch, same as, the other one. But then I'm just like, yeah, it's kind of like a slippery slope, like, and then I'll be like, for like the same reasons, like I didn't buy I saw the Sabres were selling some of their jerseys and there's a player that used to play for them that I like called Carter Hutton. And I'm like, I can afford that. It was like $400. But then I'm like, do I really want to start another hobby? Another hobby within the hobby, because it always starts with one.
Yeah. That's why I feel like this is just like the tattoo hobby. You get one and then you're sucked in and then you keep getting them.
Totally. I've always been pretty focused. Yeah, I've always been pretty focused on the Hawks. Friends of mine have not been focused whatsoever, and their collection is just everything. It's just like there's no theme, and a lot of those guys eventually are like, "What am I doing?" And they sell off most of it to concentrate on one thing. So at least I've pretty much stuck with the one thing from the beginning, which has helped. So.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, you need to have a focus. I mean, it's like we do the same thing with cards. Some people are set collectors, team collectors, player collectors. Some of us do all of those things. I mean, I do all of those things, but with so many hockey card sets coming out now, I tell myself I collect Upper Deck Series 1, Series 2 Extended Series. I'll collect OPC. I'll collect AHL. And that's about it, right? I really just try, and maybe MVP because it's so cheap. And it's pretty easy to put together. You know what I mean? So like, okay, and then maybe also Fleer Metal, but you get the idea, right?
Right. We can do this all day.
Huh?
I said we can do this all day. Your three-set list is going to be 30 sets.
Yeah, well, it feels like that sometimes, but even still, I just try to just kind of focus it. Like Sean tries to focus on the Blackhawks. So why don't you tell everybody again where they can find your website and first tell us a little bit more about your site and why they should visit it. And
Sure. Yeah. So it's blackhawksjerseyhistory.weebly.com. It's a free hosting site, so that's why it's a little longer. But again, it goes through the history of Blackhawks jerseys from 1955 to current, and it goes basically style by style. So every time the Hawks did something a little different, I've got a different page for it. For every era, looking at the tagging, looking at the jerseys, again, trying to throw in photos of guys wearing the jerseys and some of the weirdness that happened back, from year to year, that type of thing. When they started wearing nameplates, when they were one color numbers, when they were two color numbers, and it goes all the way up to the current era. I really made it to for a couple of reasons. Number one, I've been doing research on these things for such a long time that I was starting to forget some of the research that I had formerly done. So it was a good like notebook for me just to look things up. But then auction houses and other collectors were, because again, the Blackhawks jersey looks relatively similar from year to year. They were misidentifying things constantly. So, the one example I always use is there was an auction house that had a number 16 Blackhawks jersey. Well, Bobby Hull wore number 16. So of course, for the auction, it was listed as a Bobby Hull Blackhawks jersey. Well, the style of jersey that this particular jersey was a late 60s Chico Mackey jersey. An early 60s number 16 Bobby Hull jersey was completely different from the jersey that they had, but they went with Bobby Hull because it'll bring in the most money. So I put it out there as a reference point for that type of thing, and just for newer collectors that want to get into it and just learn more about the jerseys, things to look for to make sure that what you're getting is really the real deal. So this was my pandemic project that came to fruition, and it's been great. It's gotten me, on podcasts. It got me into the Blackhawks owner's private box for a game, talking to him about jerseys. It's been a lot of fun since I put it up. And if anybody who's listening is curious, check it out. Feel free to reach out to me. Always happy to help with any game worn jersey questions you may have.
All right. Well, Sean, thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate you taking the time to give us a little bit of history about Blackhawks jerseys and to talk about the Toronto Expo and then also the Game Worn Expo. Before we let you go, though, do you think you'll be doing another show next year, another Game Worn Jersey Expo?
Yeah. I mean, the one nice thing about the room that we had it in is it was relatively inexpensive and available. Both of those things are very hard to find in the Chicagoland area, especially around O'Hare, which is, we wanted to try to keep it close so people from out of town wouldn't have to travel too far. We'd like to, based off of the response that we got and the number of folks that have reached out, we'd like to add more tables, but we can't squeeze any more in that venue. So we'll see. We've got plenty of time here to try to figure it out. Maybe we can find something bigger. I've had a couple people suggest expanding it to other sports, like bring in baseball, game worn jersey collectors and football and that type of thing. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I feel that like hockey
with their own stuff.
Yeah, exactly. There's
stay away from hockey.
Yeah, I mean, hockey is such an underserved hobby in Chicago, in the United States, that it's just like, it doesn't, your show would be successful regardless of whether it had baseball jerseys or not.
Right. Yeah. And I don't collect that stuff at all. I think I have one representative Cubs jersey, one representative Sox jersey. I used to have a Bears jersey. I don't think I have a Bears jersey anymore, but that's not my thing whatsoever. So I'm all hockey.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll have to have you on again soon.
You got it. No problem. Thanks.
Thanks to Sean Sullivan for joining us on our show and talking to us about the Game Used Jersey Expo, the Toronto Expo, and telling us a little bit about his own collection. It was a nice talk. Definitely could talk about that again. So, Chicago Sports Spectacular coming up this weekend. Clemente, I know you're not coming to this because you come to the Nationals.
Yeah.
But Tim, any plans on coming to the Chicago Sports Spectacular this weekend?
Don't make me decide. It's too much pressure.
Oh no. Okay. All right.
I don't know. This came up really quick, I feel like, and I'm not prepared to mentally make that decision right now. So,
well, let me ask you this: do you have a gig Saturday night?
No, it's not because of that.
Okay, this is the first time in a while where you haven't had a gig on Saturday night. So
on a spectacular,
yeah. It's usually March, though. You always have stuff going on in March for St. Patty's.
Well, because it's around St. Patrick's Day, and we get asked to do like events for that kind of stuff. So
no, that's cool. But just to give a quick rundown, so Chicago Sports Spectacular is this weekend, November 21st through 23rd. It's arguably the second largest sports memorabilia show in the world. Over 200 dealers and over 400 tables of sports cards and memorabilia. including some hockey cards. Of course, I will be there. Puck Junk will be there. Booth number 40. It's only one person signing autographs, one hockey person, I should say. There's a lot of people signing autographs. There's like 100 people signing autographs. They got a ton of 1985 Chicago Bears. I mean, 'tis the season. It was 40 years ago that the Super Bowl Shuffle Bears won the 85 Super Bowl. And then also the members of the 2016 Cubs will be there. And then one hockey player. And
that's already 100% as much as the National. So
yeah, and this one hockey player, I guess technically he was a Blackhawk, Paul Coffey. I mean, like 17 games or something.
I have Pacific cards that are proof to that.
Yeah. So Paul Coffey will be there, and then two hockey actors, Emilio Estevez from the Mighty Ducks, which of course everybody knows the Mighty Ducks, and then D.B. Sweeney, who's probably known better as playing Shoeless Joe Jackson in 8 Men Out, but he was
like the Cutting Edge.
The Cutting Edge, yes, thank you.
Nice.
He's in the Cutting Edge. He was in the Cutting Edge. So yeah. So
I've never seen that movie, but I just know what it was. No, I'm just kidding. I've seen it.
I have not seen. Does he play for the Blackhawks in that movie, or does he play for a different team?
Honestly, it's been so long, I don't really remember. I just know I got duped into watching it by being told it was a hockey movie.
And it's not.
It's not a hockey movie.
Right. Kind of like Touch and Go with Michael Keaton, right? I mean, he plays on a hockey team, but it's not necessarily a hockey movie.
Yeah, this is farther than that from.
Or The Love Guru. Although that had.
That's a hockey movie.
Ugh. God, does it have to be though? Such a terrible, terrible movie. So anyway, Chicago Sports Spectacular. How to find me? Here's the directions. Actually, I'll post this map. I'll also put it in my newsletter. And actually, somebody came up to me and they looked and they said, "Oh, okay, yeah, I was able to find your booth because I just followed the map that you drew." And then I was like, "Oh, hey, that's cool." But yeah, I'm at booth 40. Drop by, talk some hockey and hockey cards. Get a bad hockey card Hall of Fame Series 3 trading card set. By the way, I usually give those out at the National. Like every National, I do a bad hockey card Hall of Fame set. Of course, I didn't set up at the National this year. I still made the sets. I did mail them out to people who are on my mailing list, but I haven't actually given them away in person yet. So this will be the time to come and get a bad hockey card Hall of Fame set in person. Or, just come buy some T-shirts, buy some cards, talk hockey with me. I have a lot of cool stuff there. But basically, when you walk into the show, if you're like, I just want to beeline to Sal's booth, get that out of the way, just cross that one off my list right away. You walk in, you go straight, you'll hit Baseball Card King. Then you want to turn right. You want to go past them. They got a huge booth. Baseball Card King has like all these like pages and boxes and ball cubes and puck holders and bat tubes and stuff like that. So walk by them, and then you'll turn left. You'll walk in about 4 booths, and I will be right there. You'll see a Puck Junk sign on my booth somewhere, so you'll be able to find me.
Will you be wearing your game used jersey like you have in this picture?
Yeah, my game worn. You know what I should have worn? Now that I think about it, I should have worn my men's league hockey jersey that's on my business card. You know, that Blades of Steel jersey with the captaincy and the little pixelated hockey guy. I should be like, what? I wore it in a lot of beer league games, This has got my blood and my sweat on it.
Game worn.
It's game worn. Right. So, I'll be there. I'll have T-shirts. And obviously when I sell my T-shirts in person, I sell them cheaper than I sell them online because I don't have to deal with shipping. I don't have to deal with Etsy fees and stuff like that. So definitely just drop by, if anything, just to say, hey, how you doing? I enjoyed the podcast, or I hate the podcast, and here's how you can make it better. Actually, yes, I will take all suggestions on how to make the podcast better. Clemente, you suggested this idea that we do a Setrospective about the 2015-16 Upper Deck set, because it's been 10 years. I guess that qualifies for a Setrospective. The Setrospective could be a year ago, but of course, we're still talking about 23, 24, and 24, 25 sets that are coming out in 25, 26. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yes, we're going to talk about the new 2024, 2025 set, right? Like the dates for the new sets don't mean as much anymore.
Right.
But you look back 10 years, that's a good marker to look back at, because a lot has changed in 10 years with collecting. And when you mention this, I'm like, oh yeah, we got to talk about this, because I really feel like the 15-16 Upper Deck Series 1, Series 2, and update sets were real big catalysts in hockey card collecting. I mean, part of that was because of who was in the set, and I'll just spoil it and say it was Connor McDavid. He's the big rookie card in the set. Just want to give a little bit of
First time hearing about it.
First time you've heard about it. Yeah, exactly.
I thought Kevin Fiala was the big draw to this set.
I think he's in that. I think he's in that set as well. I think he's in this set as well.
Or Andrew Kopp, maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, so just to give a little bit of detail about the set, just a rundown. So you had Series 1, which was the typical 200 base cards, 50 Young Guns. You had Series 2, which was also 200 base cards, 50 Young Guns. And technically 49 Young Guns, one checklist. You get the idea. And then there was an update series that was found in SP Authentic, and that was 30 cards. So there were 20 base cards or veterans, whatever you want to call them. And then there were 10 Young Gun rookie cards. And this is something that Upper Deck actually started doing during the 2012-13 season. You had the lockout. So they put out Upper Deck Series 1. And then eventually the lockout ended, but they decided to not put out Upper Deck Series 2. They didn't really have any rookie cards to put in Series 2. I mean, they really didn't. They just decided to cancel Series 2. But there were a lot of good players that didn't make it into Series 1. Now we're talking about 12-13. So what they did is they did like a little update set in SP Authentic that came out later that year. And so then the Upper Deck was doing that for a while. So at the end, towards the end of the season, usually like May or June, when SPA would come out, they would tack on like 30 Upper Deck update cards. And they kept doing this for a while until they started doing extended series, which honestly, I like that better, because I was frustrated, like, oh, I have to get these inserts and insert these update inserts in SPA to get, to complete my set. So release dates: Series 1 came out November 5th, 2015. Series 2 came out February 17th, 2016. Both sets were later released on EPAC. This is a big deal because EPAC was the thing that came out after the new year, and this with Upper Deck Series 1 kind of became this big push for people to use EPAC because everybody wanted a Connor McDavid rookie card. Okay, quick rundown. Hobby boxes, 24 packs, 8 cards per pack. Retail boxes, just the same, 24 packs, 8 cards per pack. I actually bought a lot of retail boxes that year because the hobby boxes were so expensive, which is funny because I remember hobby boxes used to be about $72 for 24 packs. And I would get them at a show. And then I remember that year, because of McDavid, the hobby boxes were going for over $100. And so then I said, you know what? I'm just going to buy retail boxes because they get the same amount of Young Guns. You get less other inserts in retail boxes, but the retail boxes were selling for about what hobby boxes sold for at the time, around $72. I remember this because I bought a stupid amount of 15-16 Upper Deck. I bought Series 1 retail boxes. I don't think I bought blaster boxes, which were 12 packs, 5 cards per pack. And I think that's why, because you got less cards per pack. Retail tins had 12 packs with 8 cards per pack. And believe it or not, this product was actually also sold in dollar stores. 4 cards per pack because it was $1 for the pack. And I want to say the ratio, the odds were something like you got a young gun like 1 in every 12 packs or something. It was like way harder to get a young gun in a dollar store pack, obviously. And then the update series found in 1516 SP Authentic, which was released on June 29th of 2016. The veteran base cards were found 1 in every 6 packs. The young gun rookie cards were found 1 in every 25 packs. So, guys, as we look at this design, what are your thoughts? What do you like? What do you remember about Series 1? Or Series 2 or update series, like just 15, 16 Upper Deck in general, because I've been doing a lot of the talking, so time for me to listen.
So we want to go for it?
I should probably unmute my microphone first.
Do I need to be like a teacher and call on
before I
you?
do that. Maybe. You usually go with Clemente. We'll start with you, because we haven't started with you since forever, even though it was only been a week. I mean, design wise, it falls into the category of what I would consider to be a typical Upper Deck release, I guess, with most of the card being the photo and a little bit of border coverage. I do like that the front border matches the back border on these, so it's almost like the same, like double-sided practically. But from my standpoint of these existing and coming out, as you mentioned, they had an e-pack version. This was like the first rollout of a major Upper Deck flagship release on e-pack, and I did some damage on there because it was new. And it was like the new shiny thing and the thing to do. So that's most of my Upper Deck buying from that year was done on e-pack. I think I bought a box or two of Series 1, box or two of Series 2, but I opened up a lot on e-pack for quite a while too. And I did all the trading and all the trying to meld all the cards into the next tier. Yeah, I did all that. I went hot and heavy on e-pack for a good 2 years before I started to lose interest in all of the extra stuff. But yeah, these were actually, compared to nowadays, these were actually affordable when they came out. Even though the hype was surrounding McDavid, you think about it now, and we were like upset that these were $100.
Right.
What was the pack on e-pack? Was it like $3.99 or $4.99?
Yep, $3.99. You got it.
Right, and I remember, like, if I went to Target and bought a hobby pack, it was $2.99, or a retail pack, it was $2.99. If I went to a card show, usually I could get a 24-pack box for about $72, maybe a little less. I mean, if I bought a few of them or whatever. But I remember this year they marked up the price because of the hype around McDavid. I remember I even remember people pre-selling his young gun on eBay for $275. Why I remember that, I don't know, but everybody was pre-selling his card for $275. It was just what it was. And I said, well, I'll do better. I'll just buy a few boxes, get the McDavid card, and then have my base set built and have all the other young guns. That did not work because I probably bought 4, I keep saying hobby boxes, 4 retail boxes. And I want to say I bought something like 6 tins. I don't know. I want to say, I mean, this is like a come clean moment. I want to say I spent close to $1,000 on Series 1. And I did not get a McDavid rookie card. And I was just like, you know what? Next time this sort of thing happens, I'm just going to buy the damn card. And more or less, that's kind of what I did. Either I've just decided I could do without, or I just outright buy the card. That's what I ended up doing with Connor Bedard, because I couldn't even buy any Series 2. So there you go. But
I didn't pull one either. Not out of 2 hobby boxes or all the e-packs that I bought.
Really?
I think I even bought a box on ePack. They were like $90.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, same for me. Yeah, same for me. I mean, I remember buying a lot of the blasters because I think they were pretty cheap. They were like $20 back then.
Yep.
And there wasn't, I don't remember there was this, even though there's a lot of hype around McDavid, I don't remember people making a run to buy this product. I remember wherever I went, if they had it, they had it. It wasn't like it was sold out. So, and maybe it's because it was pre-explosion of social media and maybe they made more of it. I don't know, but I'm comparing in my brain. I'm comparing that era because 10 years ago is a different era to like Bedard and McDavid, and just the difference in like the hype and in you said 275. Even adjusted for inflation, it doesn't equal the Bedard young gun going for like $1,000 off the right out of the gate, or 1,200 or whatever it was that first day. So it's things that did change. And you mentioned EPAC, which I never did, but I remember that was Upper Deck's way of trying to compete with Tops that were doing bunt and other online stuff. And so it was their big rollout to try to make it more digital. And this is also pre-breakers. I mean, maybe there were some, but I have no recollection of it being a big thing on YouTube or at shows or anything like that. So it's a different climate you're in at this point. So 10 years almost seems quaint, but it's interesting to go back 10 years because it's not going back 30 or 40. It's only 10, but things have changed a lot. And the hobby, I think, wasn't a good place in 2015. I remember it being, in a better place than it was like in the late 90s, for example. But it just wasn't something that I felt like I was seeing everywhere, reading everywhere, or taking part of digitally. It was more still, you still had to go to a store and buy the products. It wasn't like I was hearing about hype. There wasn't YouTubers hyping this thing, So in that way, it was still sort of a lot like more like the 90s than it was the current day. So I
think Upper Deck still pushed hard for it, knowing that McDavid was going to be in Series 1.
Sure.
I mean, they even had the contest where people got to pick the photo that they were going to use.
Right.
So, the photo they came up with for the young gun was the winning contest photo.
Right.
So they were trying to engage a lot, but you're right. Social media wasn't. It was there.
Yeah, the engagement came from Upper Deck, though. It didn't come from random people. Right.
Right. You didn't have like you do now. So you didn't have that push, and Bedard out of the box being 1,000, maybe 1,000 is the new 275. I don't know. Maybe. But if you think about that, that's kind of crazy that then just McDavid Young Gun is 275. And if you look at box prices now for what you can still find of these lying around, I mean, box prices are in for Series 1 are in the 750 range. Yes. And about 300 or so for Series 2. Even the mega boxes are about 400 for Series 1.
Even the blasters go for like $100 or $80 or whatever.
I saw a Series 2 one at what was the last show I went to?
The National?
Was it the National?
Yeah.
Somebody had a Series 2 blaster. They wanted like $80 for it.
Right.
So, but that always kills me about those mega boxes. You remember they had the mega boxes then, which had the Parkhurst cards in them. Mm-hmm. So you could not only pull a McDavid Young Gun, but you could pull the Parkhurst one rookie out of there too. But yeah, I mean, price wise, you think of that then, and we're like, that's crazy, that's ridiculous. And then compared to now, you're just like, man, I long for those days.
Exactly.
Where you could actually pull this stuff, find it on the shelves, first of all, and be able to pay for it. But then again, that was a lot because we didn't see that. But the hype was there. Maybe we had other places to look for it, and it wasn't as readily available.
Yeah,
that's probably
I should point out too, just to close the loop on it, that I also never pulled a McDavid. I had to buy it years later, but I never got out of a box or out of a pack.
I still don't have one, so there you go.
Yeah.
I pulled one.
See, out of Series 2, I pulled 2 Eichels. 2. But never got one.
Yeah, the McDavid that I bought it at the National in 2019. And yeah, I think my first box of Series 2, I pulled an Eichel right away. And I'm just like, wow, okay, I got Jack Eichel. So I got the other big rookie from this year. I think, and this is something that we could definitely talk about at a greater length in another show, because I want to give this topic more thought. But just about like the different eras in collecting and like hockey collecting. And you think of like, okay, so you'd say 1990, right? Okay, that was the explosion. You had all the different companies all of a sudden making hockey cards. And then you had a lot of guys like, coming from Russia, like Sergei Fedorov and stuff. So like that was like one era. And it was pretty much more or less that kind of era. I mean, things changed and print runs went down. But then like the next big thing was like the Crosby and Ovechkin, right? So post-lockout, right? So then this like people hungry for hockey cards, after 04, 05 and nothing going on. But then things were kind of static for like 10 years. They were kind of status quo. And then in 2015-16, EPAC. I really think EPAC was such a big deal. And McDavid and EPAC, they just kind of went hand in hand, right? Because if McDavid, maybe Austin Matthews, but if there wasn't a McDavid type player that year, there wouldn't have been that catalyst for EPAC. And EPAC is really what changed hockey collecting until the pandemic and social media, right? So all these different things factor in, right? So, if McDavid had started, tomorrow instead of 10 years ago, yeah, maybe it would be $1,000 rookie card, like Clemente said, right? Like that would be the new normal because of all these other things, because of breakers, because of more people collecting than they were 10 years ago, because of all these other things that kind of are in place now that weren't in place then. All right, just looking at the front, looking back at this set, I look at it and I go, this is a really nice looking set. I like it. Like when you say it looked pretty standard upper deck, yeah, I agree. I feel like a lot of the stuff from the past 20 years is pretty interchangeable. But I look at this now and I go, this is a really nice looking set. I like the vertical stripe on the side with the player's name, and it matches the uniform color. So I like that. I like it when you could break up. I mean, we always tend to put stuff horizontally because that's how we read, right? You know what I mean? But putting the name upwards, going up on the side, I like that. I like the fact that it gives more room at the bottom, because when you put borders at the bottom, what does it cover? It covers up the skates. It covers up the stick. It covers up the puck. And even though we don't see a lot of pucks or stick blades, you get the idea, right? Like when you have that bottom of the card open, the bottom border open, it gives you that room to include those things that normally would be covered by a border. So, you got the player's name at the side, the team logo at the bottom. Most of the card, I'd say, what is this? About 85% of the card is photo. And then you got silver foil for the upper deck logo and some little design striping, I guess you could say. So I don't know. Like looking back at it now, I go, yeah, this is a nice design. I pulled a few of my, I don't say my favorites, but just some of the cool pictures. And that's the other thing too. I look at this and I go, these photos would have been right at home in the 90s. When we think of like the upper deck cards that we grew up with in the 90s, and there's you could probably think of 5 cards, just off the top of your head, whether it's Joel Otto blowing a bubble, chewing bubble gum and blowing a bubble, or Mario Gosselin making that save, and from the overhead angle, or whatever, right? Theoren Fleury hopping the boards, or Ray Bourque hopping the boards, right? Like all these different, photos that were just so great. And I look at this and I go, these are some really good photos. Like not all of them are perfect. Not all of them are interesting, but I'd say most of them are interesting. They either show the player celebrating, doing something like they're in hockey action, or it's just a good candid moment. Either they're in the locker room, but something big had just happened. I'm looking at one here of Ovechkin. I have no idea what's going on.
You know what's funny, Sal, about these is that they're closer to the way the 90s were. I totally agree with that than currently.
Yeah.
And if these were current, they'd be like UD Canvas.
Yeah.
Cards, you know?
Yeah. And Canvas came out in this set as well. But
Right.
I agree. Like a lot of upper deck photos now, they're about 3/4 of the way up. They're either from the knees up or the ankles up. And it's just kind of like a full body shot or like full body shot. Yeah, you might get a close up here and there. You might get like a chest up.
But they're all the same, basically. I mean,
And
basically.
a lot of that was from COVID. You only had one camera angle because the photographers could only really be in one spot. So you had a lot of the same type of photo because of that, those limited angles. They weren't running all over the rink. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This feels more like a 90s set. Now these cards, especially like that Andrew Shaw, where like it's a net cam and you're like looking up at him. Yeah. It's like from the Stanley Cup final and you go, wow, that's a cool picture. Or that Kadri, Nazem Kadri, where he's like focused on the puck.
Actually, the Ovechkin's from a warm-up. He was doing like a leg stretch thing. That he was like laying like that. The Kadri one, the referees said, "Does this smell weird?" And he held the puck out. So that's what happened right before that.
You got Daniel Sedin, like I guess maybe jumping over a puck that's getting shot at the net.
Yeah, that's a great photo.
Yeah, and that Kreider, I mean, he's either celebrating a goal or he's experiencing a quickening like they did in the Highlander. For the 3 fans who get that reference. And
it's probably the latter because it's Kreider. He didn't ever score. So. That
too
hurt.
soon.
That dug in. Sorry.
What are you talking about? He's doing all right with the Ducks.
Yeah, with the Ducks.
Yeah,
just picked him up on my fantasy hockey team, hoping that he continues to produce. Looking at the back of the cards, first thing you notice, I picked these 2 on purpose. I picked Jaromir Jagr's card on purpose because it shows all of his statistics. And I know
that's cool. That's cool.
He took a couple years to go play in the KHL. Those statistics are not on the card, but guess what? If he was in the NHL that full time, they would have been able to fit all the stats, most likely. That is freaking cool. I love that. I love statistics on the backs of cards. If it's the last year and the totals, fine. Or give me everything. Don't give me 3 years or 5 years. That's so arbitrary. Like, we'll just do a few years because we can. We got to fill space with something, right? You know,
a few years means nothing. It's like, I mean, for someone young or getting a hobby or a kid, you would think only played 5 years. Then you wouldn't not necessarily understand that. That's like the cutoff, for everything. I do like that they were doing that then. I don't even know when they stopped, but they were definitely doing it 10 years ago, as we can see.
Yeah. So you had the same photo, but smaller. You had complete career statistics. You had the vitals, the height, the weight, birthplace, birth date along the side. They had a short blurb at the bottom. Just to fill a little bit of space. And again, looking at the set now, I go, this is a nice set. I like it. I like the look of it. I think back then I was maybe a little indifferent to it, but I think when you look back at something years later, you know what I mean? It's like maybe looking at something that you experienced and you don't really think about it. But then when you look back at it, you go, oh, that was actually pretty good. So that's why I'm glad we're doing this about a current set. So
it's kind of funny that we're talking about a 2015 set and there's still a viable playing card of Jagr. It just cracks me up. And let's be honest, if there wasn't a lockout and he never left, I think Ovechkin, we know whose record he would have been chasing. So
yeah.
Right. Yes.
Let's see. That was 2015. So he started in 1990. 90 to 2000 is 10 years. 20. Yeah, so that's like what, 15 years. 2000. Oh, sorry. 2000 to 2010.
Yeah.
So he was already at 20 years in.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
So this is like 25th year here.
Yeah, because he's in the 90s. Yeah, we've done 90s look backs and Yagers in those sets. So yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, I kind of wish he didn't leave for the KHL. I mean, I'm sure we all did, but at the same time, if he wasn't getting what he wanted in the NHL, hey, he still wanted to play, go play, But yeah, it would have been.
Didn't want to play in New York anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so best rookie cards from 2015-16 Upper Deck. Connor McDavid, and that's it. No one else.
Okay.
No one else.
I know we're going to talk about this, but I've always liked the Young Guns logo on this. I've always liked it.
Why?
I don't know. It just feels like it's a mix of modern and old. It feels maybe because of the script, and so it kind of like it's something that reminds me of the 90s, but also looks modern for the 2000s. So I like that. Some of the current ones, I can't tell them year to year. I can't tell them apart. Like this year's and last year, I can't tell them apart, or even 2 years ago. So this was like at least something, and and then it's different. It wasn't on the side because that would look weird maybe. So these are at the bottom. So these look very different from the base. So yeah, I like them. I know we're going to talk about that more, and yes, of course, it's more than just a McDavid in this set, but that's what everybody. I mean, if you know nothing about hockey, you know that this card is often in the showcase along with the Gretzky rookie, and then they all have baseball and football and every other sport, but you still see, everybody knows this card or knows the image of this card because it's everywhere.
Well, it's crazy to think about because if you look at the Young Gun checklist that's in this set, I would argue that there's probably at least 30 Young Gun cards, viable NHLers and stars and minor stars that aren't not only collectible, they're really affordable and of popular players.
Yeah, I was going through the set today to scan the cards for this podcast, and I was like looking and I'm like, wow, a lot of these guys are still in the NHL. And I really just tried to narrow it down to like 14 or 15, just, so we're not looking at every single one. Because you look at a lot of these guys and you're like, yeah, they played in the NHL for 4 or 5 years. I was looking for guys who are still playing and were like a step up from just like, okay, he's in the NHL, but he's average. Although it seems like most average NHLers now, they're gone in like 6 years. They go play in Europe. They go play in the KHL. They make more money than they would in the AHL, and somebody else is stepping up.
Yeah, because this is a 10-year-old set. If you're playing the league 10 years later, 10 years means that you're established. Yeah, you're good. Yeah. You're not gonna, you're not mediocre 10 seasons in. I mean, you're right. Maybe 5 or 6, you top out.
Yeah, I think the last thing I read about longevity in the league was something like 4 years or 5, or
right.
4 or 5 years at 400 games is like average.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, but if you look at that list, I mean, people gauge things off of people's career statistics, right? So you're looking at points, you're looking at goals, you're looking at all of that kind of stuff. If you take the top 500 goal scorers, or I said the top 500 scorers of all time, you're going to have a whole host of like all the greats, all the Hall of Famers are going to be on it. And there are quite a few current players on it. 5 are in this set, if you can believe that are
not
on the top 500
cards.
right
You
now.
just mean like
not rookies, they're just in the set.
5 young guns
of
players in this set are on the top 500 scorers list right now.
Oh, well, I hope I picked them for
try to guess
number
who they
68 currently on the screen.
Right. Well, yes.
Yeah.
But Panarin's in here, Rantanen's in here, Eichel's in here, Dylan Larkin's in here.
Yep.
They're all on the top 500 list. In fact, they're all in the top 400.
Yeah, but there's an interesting thing about that is that, like Sal, I have the Eichel one too. Very excited to have pulled that one. But Jack Eichel no longer demands in the hobby what he used to.
Jack Eichel was hot early on.
I know.
And he fizzled out because of where he was. And
I understand
got more traction when he moved over to Vegas.
But he never recovered when he went to Vegas. Like they won a Stanley Cup. The cards didn't jump up all of a sudden. Mikko Rantanen, same thing. Like they won the cup, but then it didn't sustain itself. It doesn't have the arc that McDavid has. So
Rantanen got overshadowed, I think, in Colorado from a rookie card standpoint because of who else he played with. So he doesn't get a lot of the love.
No
that
hockey
he
love.
should.
But these are great players, and same thing with Larkin. These are great players that got love immediately after this set came out, even a year later. And then even Panarin, right? Like, but then over time, it started to fizz out.
A lot of newer fans forget that Panarin was even on the Blackhawks at this point.
He was Rookie of the Year that year, wasn't he? Yeah.
So Panarin, Artemi Panarin has his young gun in this set. He won the Calder Trophy that year as Rookie of the Year. For those who don't know, McDavid had a shoulder injury during his rookie season. And Panarin was, I believe, he was a leading point scorer among rookies. And I want to say that was the same year that Patrick Kane won the Art Ross Trophy. So not only did Panarin have the most points among rookies, but he was on the same line with Patrick Kane and basically elevated Kane's game. So he had a great season for himself, but he also made his line mate better. So, yeah, so he was Rookie of the Year, which kind of makes sense. I mean, all those things considered. I mean, McDavid was the popular choice, but he got hurt and he just didn't have the point production because of that. So can't fault the guy, but that's just how it is sometimes. It's just the best rookie of the year. Connor Hellebuck. I forgot he was in this set. Dude's got like 3 Vezinas. He's got a Hart Trophy. He's got 2 Jennings trophies. I mean, he's arguably, well, he was the best goalie last year. Playoffs, different story. But de facto starter for the U.S. at the Olympics this year. Might be him, might be Jake Ottinger. But yeah, he's in this set. And then Jack Eichel, of course, and Mikko Rantanen.
I should point out that we talked about this a while back, our favorite Young Guns cards. I like this Jack Eichel pose. I think it's a great card.
Yeah, celebrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice picture. Dylan Larkin and Sam Bennett, who won the Conn Smythe in 2025. I forgot that Sam Bennett.
That car was hot for 5 minutes, but when
I forgot Bennett was on the Flames. Man, the Flames had Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk.
That's right.
All they needed was a change of scenery.
It happens.
I mean, I guess in a better goaltender, but yeah, I mean, one thing I'll say about EPAC is that it really flatlined the prices of most of these cards for such a long time because everybody wanted McDavid. All the other cards just got tossed aside, thrown on ComC. I mean, I remember like trading somebody a Dylan Larkin card, Young Gun, when I was still active on Sports Card Forum. And like the Larkin had like a trade value of like $7. And I should have just hung on to it. I think I had like 3 of them because I kept getting Dylan Larkin for some reason and probably Mikko Rantanen and no McDavids. But it's crazy to think that a couple years later that Larkin's card was so undervalued. It took a long time to catch up. Colton Karenko. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say about I remember the point in time where the Mikko Rantanen suddenly became a card that people wanted.
Oh, yeah.
What point was that?
It certainly wasn't when he was a rookie because he was in one of my common boxes and he sat in there forever. And then all of a sudden it was like.
It was when they won the cup, probably.
Yeah, you have Nathan McKinnon and you have Mikko Rantanen. And I'm like, I was flipping through a section that had all my Colorado Avalanche in it. And I'm like, here's a Rantanen Young Gun. I wonder what these are going for now. And I was like shocked because at that point in time, they were like $40. I was like, holy crap. I thought this was like a 40-cent card.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get rid of it. It's still in there. But
in the common box?
Yeah. All my boxes are common boxes now.
Do you at least give it a penny sleeve?
No, it's in there. I'm just raw dogging it right in the box.
Oh, God.
The funny thing is that you don't move the Rantanen, but he's back to where he was probably before, not 40 cents, but it's probably like what? Is that a $10 card? It's not more than that, is it? 20? 25? I mean, I don't know. I have it. So I'm not out looking for it. I just don't think there's a big resale on that anymore.
I don't know because you brought up Hellebuck before, and I was trying to pick up a Hellebuck, and I bid on a few of them on eBay, and all of them finished well over $100.
Were they raw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm not buying a crate.
Well, I
Get
had to
outta
ask.
here.
I had to ask. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't care about their authenticity. If you're going to make a fake Young Gun, good on you.
Well, they make pages now that fit graded cards. I'm not kidding.
Yeah. I've been actually meaning to buy an album for like top loader cards because I really want one for one of my collections, but I just haven't done it.
Wait, are they 9 pocket pages or 4? What is it like? Was it? I mean, I can't even picture it. Slabs.
I think
like you put them in.
I don't know about the graded card one. I know the ones that you can put like top loader ones.
Oh,
in.
top loader. Okay, yeah.
It's 9, but the binder's big.
It's wide. I have one.
Yeah, it's wide. And it's got a zipper on it. It's a nice looking binder.
Also, it has to be pretty thick because if you put a whole set in there in top loader, now it's going to be super fat because now.
Oh yeah, and when you fill it, it's heavy.
Oh yeah,
super heavy.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing, but yeah.
So other rookies in 2015-16 Upper Deck, you got Colton Parayko of the Blues. I forgot he was in this set. And Linus Ullmark of the Sabres.
Yeah.
Anthony Stolarz and Noah Hannafin. I mean, those guys are still playing 10 years later.
Stolarz is hurt right now.
Well, yeah, actually, I think he got off the IR. I think he played, or
is he day to day, week to week.
Yeah, like he's on the mend. But yeah, you're right though. But I mean, he's
still playing.
Yeah, he's still playing. Nikolai Ehlers still playing, and UC Saros
not for the Jets.
Yeah, no, just not for the Jets. And UC, no goals. Saros, no goals. I don't know if you guys have seen that commercial.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of silly.
They play it a lot during games. I mean, it's.
I want to do my own dub of it, where Ryan O'Reilly says, "Hey, Juice, I'm thinking about starting a savings account," and then he goes, "No saves," because he's been playing awful. Like, I think UC Saros is like, "Hey, I think Sal's got me on his fantasy team. Think I'll allow 5 goals tonight." Like, he started out pretty good, and then after that, it's just like, actually, it's the Preds not scoring the goals. Goalie can only do so much. But yeah, so UC Saros.
If you give up 2 but can only score 1, you're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose. Yeah, yeah. Like Ken Dryden used to say, "Score 2 goals and we'll win this game." Because then he had because the pressure was off. Because he said then, okay, I knew that I could make 1 mistake. So I didn't feel as bad. If I can make 1 mistake, if I'm allowed 1 mistake, the pressure's off. But if I have to be perfect, that's too much pressure. But yeah, when it's like you make a bunch of saves and your team doesn't, gets shut out, or loses 5-1, that's pretty terrible. But yeah, I mean,
I can't figure out Nashville at all. Like, I don't think anybody can really, and I'm not an expert, but it just makes no sense. You look at their roster on paper.
Yeah,
it's like this should be they should be a contender.
And yeah. I mean, Steven Stamkos on their roster. They still got Philip Forsberg.
Yep, and they have Jonathan Marchessault. I mean, it doesn't make much sense.
No,
but.
Yeah, they got those free agents a couple of years ago, and it was just like, wow, okay, they're not messing around. I will say, though, that Saros did fill in nicely when, like, Pekka Rinne retired. Like, did you ever notice that, like, I mean, Clemente, you might be thinking about, well, no, actually, no. Like, actually, the Rangers are a bad example. It's like when one good goalie retires and then that team has, like, that 4, 5, 6 year stretch where they just can't figure it out in net. But, I mean, the Rangers pretty much went from Lundqvist to Shesterkin.
Yeah, no, the Rangers didn't have that problem. They have that with the whole offense. No, no, with goaltending, no.
Only at home, though.
Only at home, they don't score. So you made a comment about Nashville. I thought you were going to make a joke about the Rangers not scoring enough goals at home. I mean, talk about being shut out like at home. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
No, they didn't have the goaltender problem, but teams have it all the time where they lose their starter, and then I think when the Rangers, because the Rangers didn't go from Richter to Lundqvist immediately. Maybe they did. No, there was some lean,
there were a couple of years they had
Kevin Weeks, and they had some lean years in the middle there. Like there were some years where it wasn't great.
Dan Blackburn was supposed to be their next big deal. Shoulder injury.
Yeah. I don't mean to pick on Weeks, but he was in that group over the years where they didn't have someone that you thought, oh, he's going to carry this team. And I remember but yeah, no, in that case, no, didn't happen to the Rangers, but it happens to teams all the time.
Yeah, well, with the Preds, I mean, Soros just filled in nicely after Rene retired. So, I think he's around 10 years later, he's a solid goalie. Speaking of goalies, also Jonas Korpisalo and Matt Murray, they were young guns in the extended version, or the update.
We should talk about
update cards.
We're going to talk about that because I never got.
Don't call it extended.
Yeah, no. I never got update cards from this set because I've just never gotten them.
Well, the thing is that like
you wouldn't. You had to buy SP, and they were short printed.
Yeah. So
I still need cards to finish the set. Like I was going through, and I have an empty pocket where the McDavid card should be because mine is graded, and even if it wasn't graded, don't know if I want to put it in the 9 pocket page.
Just shove it in there.
I got an 85, 86 O-Pee-Chee Mario Lemieux in a 9 pocket page with the rest of the set. Which
I have 3 of them in pocket pages.
Really?
Yep.
You monster. I'm kidding.
My Penguin binder.
He's got it with a Nico
binder and in the set binder.
Nice.
I also have one in a not a screw down. What do you call it? Oh, the magnet ones.
It wasn't a screw down originally.
The one touch.
One touch. Yeah.
Dude, screw downs were just way too much work. That took way too much time.
It did, and it does damage the card long term, but there was something about screwing it in and then keeping it in there screwed in. To me, it felt like it was safe.
I have one card. I have one card in a screw down, and it's right here behind me.
Oh, Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, yeah.
That's the one card I have in a screw down.
I think that's okay to have in a screw down.
That's an awesome card to put in a screw down.
Yeah, so, I think so. Go. Yeah.
I have a Manon Rayum.
It's a good feeling to put in a screw down.
Yeah,
I have a Manon Rayum card in a screw down. And the reason why it's in this screw down is because it is in a special screw down that has at the top in embossed gold letters, it says Manon Rayum. Like the company that made this fake card literally made a screw down holder just for this card. So I said, all right, this card has got to stay in this screw down because that's just how it came. But
it'd be funnier if you took it out and put somebody else in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, we can say none of the cards from this set were ever put in a screw down because screw downs were way gone by then at this point. So,
Well, you know what I bought as a kid? I remember buying the snap. They were like snap. I guess they were called snap tights. They were like 2 parts that snapped together, and they had like a little recessed area for the card to fall into or to go into. Yeah. And then they had raised corners so you could stack them. I really liked those. And you know what? I still have a lot of my cards in snap tights. I remember 30 years ago, I don't know, it was just like one of those, like I was a kid at a show and this guy sold me like a box of 100 snap tights. And I don't know what I spent, but they used to maybe be like $1 a piece. And I want to say I got the whole case for like $30 or something nuts. And
but they stopped making them, right?
And the thing is that I would still use them, but they're not UV proof. And now that's become kind of part of the conversation now. Sure. I've slowly been taking my cards out of these snap tights, and they've been fine in there for 30 years. The screw downs, I phased those out like 15 years ago when I heard about people saying that their cards got stuck to them.
Yeah.
All of those card wall frames, they use the snap tights.
Okay, want to just touch on a few of the insert sets and parallels in 15-16 Upper Deck. So there were 56 different insert sets, 56. Now, some of these, there were like different versions, like the blue version and the silver version and whatever version. But just to give a quick rundown, there was UD Portraits, Day with the Cup, OPG Update, 600 Goal Club, which was only just one card of Jerome McGinley. Yeah, I don't know. I saw that. I'm like, that's interesting. It's just a one card insert set. Clear cut superstars.
They add to it when people hit it.
What's that?
They add to that set when people hit that goal.
Oh, I see. Okay. Got it. But it just uses the design of whatever year that is.
I think a lot of them look the same.
Okay. Well, because this one followed the 15-16 design.
Yeah.
Let's see. Code to Greatness and Instant Impression were EPAC only inserts. You had Puck Wizard, Shining Stars. Remember Shining Stars?
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is, do you miss Shining Stars? Because I don't.
I mean,
yeah,
no.
Yeah. Okay. Signature Sensations, UD Canvas, UD Game Jerseys, Winter Classic Jumbos, and Young Gun Jumbos. I think they were like 4x6 size.
So yeah, I got the Young Guns jumbo of Eichel, but I don't like jumbos. But I remember getting one in some kind of box. It must have been a hobby box, I guess. But yeah, not a jumbo guy.
You know, the portraits set, when Upper Deck Series 1 and Upper Deck Series 2 had been on EPAC for a while, I scooped up the entire 110, I think it was 110 cards. And I want to say I paid about $10 for the whole set. Wow. I just literally bought number 1, number 2, number 3. Maybe I had a few of them already, you know, but, and I think I remember the ones that cost me the most were McDavid. I want to say I paid like $6 for, and Eichel. I want to say, no, that would have been like $10 then. I don't know. Maybe it was like $20, but it was like, but I just methodically like bought number 1, bought number 2, bought number 3, I said, screw it. I'm just going to build the set. I like the way it looks. And I mean, if you think about it, putting together a 100 card insert set for like $20 on Comp C, and that was fun. I still like those things, you know, I still like doing that sort of thing. It's just sometimes I got to pick my battles, because when it's like 110 card Dazzler insert set, I'm just like, nah, I don't care that much. You know, like if it was 20 cards, 30 cards, maybe 50 cards. If you really like the design of it, okay, cool. But yeah, so this is one of those few times where I actually like built the whole set. That Day with the Cup card, I used to own that card, and I don't own it anymore, but I have the scan of it. So I just thought, all right, I'll just throw that in. Patrick Sharp raising the cup.
On his deck.
Yeah. Well, I'll just tell the quick story. Somebody gave me this card as a gift for whatever reason, because they knew that I like Blackhawks. Well, the back of the card had Patrick Sharp with his Basset Hound dog. And my girlfriend at the time had 3 Basset Hounds, and she was into hockey. So I gave her this card, and because she knew about his Basset Hound. They even had a little feature about his Basset Hound eating dog chow out of the Stanley Cup after he had won, you know, the cup. And so I'm like, okay, here you can.
You know, humans drink out of that thing. All right. You know, that.
Dogs do too, apparently. Yeah. Patrick Sharp's dog, I forget its name, Boomer or whatever, like ate kibble out of the cup. And, you know, so I gave her the card, and, you know, and I'm not with her anymore. And she didn't say, oh, here's your hockey card back. I don't want it. You know, like, so I'm kind of like,
you're in court fighting over it now. No, I'm kidding.
I kind of wish I didn't give her that card, but okay, whatever. Because I don't know, like those things with the cup cards, like some of them are really freaking hard to find. So, you know, that would have been a nice one to keep, but whatever. Can't keep it all, right, Tim?
You can try.
Yeah.
Just don't give it to people.
Yeah.
I was trying to be nice.
Just give it to People.
I just decided to end what I was going to say right there.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
All right, moving on.
Parallel sets. So, okay, in addition to the exclusives, the high gloss, midnight, Young Guns acetate, and the printing plates, this was the first year Upper Deck did the silver foil board version. And if you're watching the podcast, you'll be like, Sal, that card doesn't look very silver. And you're right, it doesn't. But that's how the scan came out, and I was pressed for time, and good enough. You get the idea. It's a different, the card's got a different look to it. It's printed on different stock.
Yeah, I can assure you the silver foil board does not look green.
No.
So.
No. But was it 10? You needed 10 of the same card or 5 of the same Young Gun to exchange for a silver version. Does that sound right?
It
might have been 5 at the time. I can't remember.
Yes. Because I know they fiddled around with it a couple times, but yeah, I think that's what it was originally.
Yeah, I think so.
10 of the regular cards, 5 of the Young Guns.
Yeah. And then like the next year, I think it was like the next year, then they said, there's too many of these silver cards that nobody wants. And so then they started doing word, then you could exchange 5 silver cards for like a speckled foil board or something, like the prismatic foil board or something. They keep doing these
the basic ones went from silver foil board to gold to then, you do those, and then you could get the rainbow or the speckled rainbow. They've changed the name of them a few times, but it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It was like, for me, it was actually, I will say this. This is a mistake that Upper Deck kind of figured out after a year. Like, when they started e-Pack, you could get a free pack of cards every day. They still have that, but they're just digital cards. Well, same here. You would get digital cards, but you could trade the digital cards, and it could basically just meld them to make the silver versions. So what I would do is I would just every day I'd get my free pack of 3 cards, and then when I'd get like maybe 2 or 3 or enough, I'd start trading. So I was basically like not paying any money, but still ending up with silver versions of these cards because I would just trade. And now it's like they give you the purple version, which has no value, can't be exchanged for anything, can't be merged into anything. And then now the ones that can be merged, well, then they could be merged and merged again and merged again. And it's just kind of ridiculous.
I mean, that's how it works.
And now we just
really all it is. And you and I both did the same thing, and we had tons and tons and tons of these digital cards that were always like 1 short or 2 short or whatever of turning them into the silvers. But then take that to the next step. Those all became physical cards.
Right.
And all of the people that were cashing those out and taking delivery on them or sending them to their ComC accounts basically flooded the market.
Right.
So you may have spent hours and hours and hours doing trades and everything else to get to the point where you get your silver card. And if you would have waited a year, you could have had that same silver card for 30 cents.
Which is kind of what I did. Like I was just spending the hours getting the few that I need, just the few that I could here and there. But then I ended up just buying the rest. I don't know how I got the Crosby one. I might have built that one myself. I might have just bought it for like $1. I mean, it wasn't really expensive. I mean, the only ones that were pricey were the Young Guns. The rest of them were relatively inexpensive.
And where they've kind of amplified that was to do the achievement cards instead, where you have to hit certain milestones of collecting a certain amount of certain types of cards. And when this initially came out, the only ones that they had achievement cards for, I think, were the Code to Greatness set and the Initial Impressions, if I remember correctly. And in order to get those you had to build the whole entire set, which were also physical cards because they were inserts. So if you hit any of those on e-Pack, you could have had them shipped. But the incentive was, hey, if I'm going to try to get this achievement card, I need to get all 25. I think it was 25, maybe 20. But you had to get them all, and then you could get the actual achievement card, which would make you think, okay, there's going to be less of the achievement card. They're going to be worth more because it's a much harder build. Well, then all of that flooded the market too. So I don't know. It's we've talked about this before, the partnership between the e-Pack thing and ComC and making it how easy they did to move things from the e-Pack platform over into your ComC account so you could, sell. It essentially flooded the market and it became a race to the bottom. So, it is. I mean, it is what it is. It was fun at the time. It was because it was brand new. It was a new thing. Like they never had that. Hockey didn't really have that. There was Top Skate, but not many people utilized that or utilized it for something like this where you could physically get cards. So this was cool. I think it just became complicated and a lot of people were turned off by it because they thought everything was just, it's all digital. And they didn't grasp the concept of, you got to put in some work and it can become physical. And there's a physical aspect to it. So, but yeah, it was super easy to hit a couple clicks and open packs and open boxes. And before you know it, you had a credit card bill that was super high and you're like, why did this happen? And you forgot it was clicking instead of driving to a card shop and haggling with the dealer and trying to buy a box or something and standing there and physically opening packs. I could have a whole box opened in about 48 seconds. That was all.
I wonder if people who do DraftKings have a similar problem.
I mean, it's all gambling. Really.
Like they just click and swipe, and then all of a sudden they've just spent, $1,000 on something.
It's easy to do. I mean, it's easy to do. And I don't know. Like when this first came out, you had a lot of the conversation of, is this the future of card collecting? Is it all going to go to digital platforms? Because as we've talked about before, our kids don't want anything. They don't want stuff.
Yes, they want
virtual things. Less stuff. They want virtual things.
Yeah.
If it's not on their phone, they want no part of it.
Yep.
So this is the direction it was going. Well, now here we are 10 years later. e-Pack's still around. There's other digital platforms. They've tried this time and time again with various things. They've had NFTs. I know I'm not supposed to say that word anymore.
Which also kind of disappeared, or I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's still around, but we don't hear about it in the sports world very much anymore.
Right.
So all of this is still existing, but I don't see any kids that are collecting doing it on their phones. It's still cards. And we don't touch them anymore. We put them in slabs so we don't have to touch them.
Well,
but
no, I guess what I want to point out is that people have breakers open them for them, and then they only send you the hits. That's it. And then everything else goes in the garbage, or you don't get them.
No, they don't send you the hits. Then you can sign it with them to send to PSA or BGS. Yeah. And then they slab it, and then they send it to another consignor so they can auction it off for you. So you never touch the card at all.
Right. Yeah.
It's stuff like that.
But 10 years ago was the origins of it, because technology was getting better. But you're right. I remember the time, and I guess I never did e-Pack, but I never thought, like, I wanted to open them because I wanted to touch them. And I mean, this is a very tactile hobby. The moment it's all virtual, then I don't find the joy in it. Then I'll just collect photos on my phone, right? Like that's the same thing. To me, it's not the same. So
This is why I really don't do e-pack anymore, because it became too easy.
Right.
It was too easy.
You spend a lot of money, like you said.
And you can quickly spend a lot of money, and it gets out of hand because of how easy it is.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. It was kind of scary. I mean, I still have an account. I'll still open free packs. I'll occasionally buy something on there. Most of the time it's like a special thing or a game dated moment thing or whatever's, going on, or I'll check it to see what latest news is or something like that about card releases and that kind of thing. But yeah, it became too convenient and too easy. And to me, it was like, "Ooh, this is scary. I don't want to be part of it." So, but as far as the card set itself, I mean, just looking back on it, I mean, this was kind of it's an iconic set simply because of that card that's right in the middle of the screen there. And by the way, it just so happened to have a ton of other stars that are currently in the league and play today. All coming out of this same exact time frame. I mean, this was probably one of the better young gun classes in 10 years.
Yeah, and looking through them, I mean, there were guys that I said they're still playing, but they're not like. I mean, I got my book right here in front of me. I could go through it, but and I don't necessarily want to read through the whole list of young guns, but you get the idea. You know what I mean? Like the ones that I highlighted were the ones that were like playing, and they're like playing at a high level. High enough.
You showed a lot of them on there. I mean,
yeah.
Ryan Hartman is another one. Brady Shea is another one that's in there.
Yes.
Shea Theodore's in that set. Brock McGinn's in that set. I mean, all these guys have had long careers, and most of them are still playing. So, yeah. I think this is probably one of the better rookie class sets in 10 years, probably 05, 06.
Yeah, and what EPAC did though is because, like I said, because McDavid was the only young gun that people only really seemed to want. A lot of those cards I got very inexpensively. Like I probably got all the young guns that I needed. I mean, I remember pulling Dylan Larkin because, like I said, I had like 2 or 3 of them. But there are ones that are picking up for like 30, 40 cents that are not 30 or 40 cent cards now. I mean, it's the same in 05, 06. I remember going through like rummage boxes and buying like Hendrik Lundqvist rookie cards for like 50 cents because if it wasn't Crosby or Ovechkin, it just went in like the $1 box or the 50-cent box or whatever. And I remember like pulling out his rookie cards and Corey Perry for like a quarter and Corey Crawford for like a quarter, you know what I mean? And those cards had gone up, I mean, they're not $1 million cards, but you get the idea, right? Like sometimes when there's a rookie that everybody gets so fixated on, we're going to see the same thing in a couple of years when we look back at 23-24 with Connor Bedard. You know what I mean? Like everybody was so worried about his rookie card that all the other ones just got cast aside. Even if they were decent players, the people who were buying a lot of those cards weren't like, well, I'm going to see if these other 5 young guns that I got pan out or not. You know what I mean? To them, it was basically just kind of like a base card. It wasn't the one card that they wanted. So sometimes you have that, where there's just one really good card and then the other good cards just get overlooked. And I feel like this set kind of fits that.
Clemente brought up a good point about there not being breaking wasn't as prevalent. I mean, it was around, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Partially because of social media and YouTube and everything else made it blow up like it did, but there really weren't platforms for it like there are now, like the Fanatics Lives and the whatnots and all of that. But you weren't putting a lot of the product out there, like the quick dumps. I mean, yeah, there were people buying cases and that kind of thing, but I wonder how many people bought this and stashed it. Because occasionally you'll see cases of this pop up. You'll see some of the bigger major retailers online, like the Steel Cities and the DNAs and stuff. They'll have this, but not all the time. So obviously they're buying it from other collections because you can't buy it from a distributor at this point. But I just wonder how many people are stashing it, because we already know that like the Bedard year, tons of people stashed sealed product. Tons. I mean, that was like the big thing to do once the initial newness wore off of everybody trying to sell the cards for 1,000, 900, 800, 700, 600. And then when the bottom started to fall out and you realize, oh, what's going on? People quit opening, and they have all these cases just sitting aside and sealed. I wonder how much of that is in 2015, 2016. And the only reason why I ask that is look at the pop counts of what's been graded. I mean, if you go between BGS and PSA, just the McDavid base Young Gun, there's almost 18,000. So I know that pales in comparison to where the Bedard Young Gun is at this point.
No, but for a long time, the McDavid one was one of the highest modern hockey cards. Yeah.
So think about that. For a 2015 set, there's 18,000 of that card, a short printed rookie. So right. That's a lot. The vast majority of them are in BGS slabs, by the way, for all of you youngins that think they're a crappy company. People didn't used to think that.
Mine's in a BGS.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, there's almost 18,000 of these in just those two branded slabs. So it's kind of crazy to think about, but that's why it makes me wonder how many of these are like sealed away and people are just sitting on them.
Well, I'm out of thoughts. I think I've said everything I need to say about the set. How about you guys?
You have one? You don't? Or you have one? You have one? I don't have one. Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah. Got my...
Yeah.
Also in a BGS slab.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to never have one. I looked while we were talking about doing this one. I happened to look up like last sales on some of these, and
yeah, what do they go for?
Yeah,
now?
They're selling for like $3,000. So I'm like, yeah, I'm out.
Wow.
For a PSA 10, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm happy with my raw one. Or excuse me, not my raw one. It was raw. I got it graded.
You graded that yourself?
I graded it myself.
You submitted it.
I submitted it myself because this is when I started really seriously selling cards at shows. And I had a Gretzky rookie, a Lemieux rookie, a couple of McDavid rookies. And I said to myself, I may never sell this card, but if I'm going to sell it ever, I should get it slabbed. Now, maybe my logic at the time was flawed. The thing was that PSA wasn't accepting submissions. Beckett was accepting submissions, and they charged the same whether it's a $5 card or a $500 card. I said, all right,
that.
I'm gonna just get these graded with Beckett because it gives it a point of reference. I mean, I might say, oh, this card is great. And you might say this card is not so great. If we look at this card, I mean, mine's graded an 8.5, which according to Beckett is near mint plus. Okay, near mint plus. So it's better than near mint. That's fine. So somebody can't look at this and say, oh, it's very good. You know what I mean? Like you might say it should be a little higher. It might be a little lower, but if anything, it gives that initial point of reference. I have no plans of selling this card though. The other thing though, is I wanted to slab it because I just wanted it to be, I felt like it'd have like greater protection in a slab. Now I don't feel that way so much anymore. A lot of my really high-end cards I put in one touches because in that way I can display them because those are UV proof.
I was going to say the one touches are UV proof, and I don't think the slabs really are.
They are not. So yeah. So all right.
Well, I don't have one yet. I need to get one, and I probably never will. So there it is. That's my story.
It is.
What's your final thought?
That's my final thought. So if anybody wants to donate to the Tim Needs a McDavid Young Gun Fund, you can catch me in my GoFundMe
Yes, in his GoFundMe, but it would be a card of lies, because it wouldn't be a card that you collected yourself. It'd be a card that people did a Kickstarter for or GoFundMe for to get you.
Yeah, I'll make an
Card of
exception
lies.
to my rule in this case.
Right.
I'm going to start one for the Crosby Young Gun too.
Yeah, that's another story. That should be our next Setrospective, because that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's true.
Damn, how the time flies.
It does.
All right, I think we're going to wrap it up here. So thank you for listening to the Puck Junk Hockey Podcast. As always, if you've enjoyed this show, please be sure to like and subscribe. If you like to read, check out the newsletter at puckjunk.com/newsletter. And if you'd like to sponsor this podcast, you could do so by purchasing a t-shirt at shop.puckjunk.com. And until next time, collect what you like.